With the groundwork laid, ambitions boosted or changed across the course of the season, the 2024 Championship enters the run-in as we come to Kimbolton for Event 7 of the Wera Tools Motorsport UK British Kart Championship. With several drivers fresh off last weekend's Kart Masters British Grand Prix, it's time for the Rotax classes and KZ2 to continue their campaigns around another of the UK's oldest kart circuits. Ready to take on this near 1 kilometre circuit, situated halfway between Cambridge and Northampton, are the likes of Sebastian Behrman in Micromax, the new GP plate holder from less than 7 days ago. Max Gilman will be looking to build upon a best result of the season in Minimax last time out at Warden Law. Joshua Turnbull going again in Junior Rotax, another driver who had a strong Kart Masters weekend. Can he elevate back up into the top 10 in the championship standings? Archie Walker was impressive through the heats and the pre-final at Warden Law. Can he go one race further in Senior Rotax this weekend? And of course KZ2, their season in full flow now, with Lee Ward, based not too far from Kim, looking to continue to fly the flag for the privateers. All the action, every lap of every race can be followed across the Motorsport UK and Alpha Live platform of channels. It's time to go racing here in Cambridgeshire for Event 7 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships.
And a very warm welcome this afternoon to Kimbolton for the heats here for the penultimate round of the season for the Rotax classes for the KZ2 category there, continuing through the mid part of their season. My name is Andrew Mather. Great to be back with you once again for the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Nicole Sutherland alongside me this weekend. Henry Baudet sends his apologies. He is in the Bahamas. Nice for some. He's helping out with the selection for their national team for the FIA Motorsport Games later on in the season. Let's talk about the circuit that we're racing upon this weekend, just short of 1 kilometre in length, 12 turns. Another circuit similar to Shennington a few weeks ago. This place used to be an RAF airbase, so it's not got a lot of elevation, but it's got a rich history. This circuit established in the late 1950s. Weather report. Very overcast at the moment, quite comfortable conditions for racing, but a bit of rain forecast later on in the afternoon, which could affect the second round of heats. We'll keep on top of that as always. The agenda for today, all classes, the senior, junior, Minimax, Micromax classes all get 2 runs each for each driver, KZ2 getting 2 runs as well. Things due to start in just over 5 minutes time here at the circuit. Thank you once again for you all tuning in round the world at home. Let us know who you're cheering on, but I think we can now head down to Nicole Sutherland for the first time today. Over to you, Nicole.
Thank you, Andrew. Trackside then, great to be back. Penultimate round then for the Rotax classes, and you can definitely tell there's a bit of a change in atmosphere around the paddock. You've got drivers now who are under pressure to claw back some points to either get back up on the order or extend their championship lead. I've only driven this track a couple of times, but I think the racing here is absolutely fantastic. You see a lot of overtaking, and I think the margin between the times and the drivers is really close, keeps it really close together, lots of trains going on. Yesterday I caught up with junior Rotax driver William Antrobus. He spoke us through how you would drive a quick lap around this circuit. So let's hear from William before we head into the box for some racing. Junior Rotax lap record holder and competitor William Antrobus is going to talk us through a quick lap of Kimbolton. William, you take over.
Thank you, Nicole. As we come down into turn 1, we want to hold the brake into the right, so we use the rumble strip as fast as we can, and then through the right and then left, and then over this curb here just to get the momentum going, and then through this we want to get a hard braking zone over this left curb, but then we want to perfectly go over that right curb, and as we go flat through the double left and then the right and then into the double right, we want a little bit on the brake and then back on the power as fast as we can, getting close to that apex, and we want to get our head down the straight, through the left, little dab on the brake and hold the brake into here, and then flat out and down the straight we go.
Thank you, William. Looking forward to seeing more of the same tomorrow.
Thank you.
Very good to hear from William Antrobus there, giving us his insight into how to get around this Kimbolton circuit in the fastest way possible. And Angelus on good form across the course of the season so far. Nicole rejoins me in the box. And Nicole, you've got a bit of experience around this circuit. I've never raced this circuit previously, so from your perspective as well, I don't think you've raced it in the dry, but what's some of the unique challenges from your perspective?
Yeah, so I've only ever driven this track in the wet. It was very, very cold. I think it was January or February time, and I don't think I've ever actually been that cold in my whole life. So yeah, limited experience driving this track in the dry. From what I've seen though, it's quite exciting racing. It's been exciting this morning for the drivers in both quali and yesterday in practice.
Yeah.
I think this track has some quite unique challenges in the sense that the braking zones are not very harsh. You have to carry a lot of minimum speed. It's one of those tracks where, you know, it's fast and it's flowing. You have to keep going. So that's the kind of circuit though that I really like to watch. Similar circuits that we've ran in this championship before, kind of like Clay Pigeon's a bit similar. You don't really have those harsh braking zones. You carry that speed through.
Absolutely. Well, all to come here at Kimbolton, and more in terms of Rotax racing later on in the year as well. Let's get some of the details for one of the big events coming up later on in the autumn. Great to be heading to Warden Law later on in the season for that. Should be absolutely fantastic for one of the biggest Rotax events, not just in the UK or for UK drivers, but around the world. So brilliant to be bringing that to these shores. A bit of a rundown of the agenda. If you're just joining us, we will be starting with Senior Rotax Heat 1. That'll be a Group B versus Group C race. Same for the juniors immediately after. Minimax, Micromax and KZ2 all drivers all in one group each. So that's nice and easy to follow. Then we'll go around that same order of classes again, the only difference being that it'll be A versus C races for the senior and junior classes. And then to finish the day, the A versus B races for senior and junior. So 12 races to enjoy here this afternoon at Kimbolton. And you can see it's a little bit breezy across the circuit. Could be a little bit tricky for the drivers, but the track is nicely rubbered in here across the running that's been happening this morning and yesterday as well. And as I say, keep your comments coming in. Let us know who you're cheering on. We'll be keeping an eye on those comments as we can across the course of the day. Nicole, let's talk championship, because we really, you mentioned it earlier, we really have had a bit of a change of the wind direction in terms of how the drivers might be preparing themselves. You know, they've gone through the first 3 rounds in these Rotax categories, the first 3 rounds as well for KZ2. What, from your experience, is a penultimate round like when you're heading into it?
The pressure is definitely on, both for those drivers who are championship leaders and for those drivers within the kind of top 5, maybe just outside of the top 5, because this is the stage really where if you get this wrong this late in the year, you kind of know going into the last round, sometimes it's kind of over for you.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, pressure is on. There's definitely a different atmosphere out there in the circuit. But then as well, there's some returning faces in some grids, maybe to help teammates, that kind of thing within the championship. So I think it's going to be quite an interesting weekend, to say the least.
Absolutely. Hello to Lyle Hannam, here to cheer on Harry Hannam in the next race in seniors. Good to have Harry with us for the first time this season, if I'm not mistaken. Dave Frank as well. Hello to Royal Princess Motorsport, who's just rooting for some good, hard racing. That's fantastic to see. And Nana Babs as well for Albi Lapper in juniors as well. There's a quick look into the pre-grid area for this first heat of the weekend for our seniors. And as ever, it's what we love about these TQs. It always shakes things up a little bit. This one no different, Nicole.
Yeah, I think you've got some drivers maybe a little bit out of position. We can see within this race, he's not appeared on our screens yet, but Gustav Uzakovs is starting last on the grid. A driver you would not expect that from. So I think you're going to have people fighting up. Teddy Pritchard-Williams there was on your screen as well. I know he wasn't happy after TQ. So again, drivers out of position. You're going to see some great racing and people really fighting their way up through the pack.
Absolutely. There is Gustav Uzakovs in kart number 89 for Hunter Motorsport, with it all to do from the back of the grid. It'll be Guy Cunnington and Ewan Charman on the front row for this one. Let's get ready for it. First race of the weekend for Event 7 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Racing at Kimbolton is up next. Let's take you through the grid then for heat number 1. Guy Cunnington and Ewan Charman start on the front row. Cian Geraghty and Caden McQueen resume battle on row 2 from 1 week ago. Rachel Robertson, great qualifying on the third row of the grid alongside championship leader Macaulay Bishop. Joshua Graham, winner at Lark Hall, starts on row 4 alongside Angus Scrivener.
Returning driver Mark Kimber starts alongside Deacon Russell. Jack Collins and Neo Clark run row number 6. Harry Hannum for the first time is on row number 7 alongside DHR's Ethan Martin. Teddy Pritchard-Williams and Pearson Bullock-Carter start on row 8.
Luke Bates and Ralph Youngling start on row 9, completing the top 20. It's Benjamin Southgate and Alexander Adams-Acton. Ollie Goodyear and Jack Chillingham on row 11. Adish Mehta and Luca Osmond-Price on row 12. Zach Chapman-Lewis and Jonathan Railton on row 13. Gustav Uzakovs completes a 27-strong field. Senior Rotax here at Kimbolton is underway and running for 10 minutes plus 1 lap down into Stoke Corner for the first time. It's a good start for Guy Cunnington. Gets a little bit tight on the entry to the Willows here, but that's a good run from everybody. All 27 drivers are present and correct. Heading down now towards the second part of the circuit in the crucial double right-hander of the Dan Weldon corner. At the front of the field, Guy Cunnington entering the start of this weekend second in the championship, has got a bit of progress to make to start to put that pressure on championship leader Macaulay Bishop. Bishop is in this race, of course, has got to start working his way up from the third row of the grid. Remember, for all of these drivers, they get 2 heats to set the order for the intermediate classification. That'll be the first time we see some championship points awarded this weekend, and they, of course, set the grid for the pre-final tomorrow.
Both Guy Cunnington racing drivers having a really good start to this race then. Guy Cunnington second in the championship, but has pulled away really nicely as we see him on your screens just previously go through the double right-hander. Rachel Robertson sits nicely there in 4th. Really good start to her Kimbolton weekend, coming stronger and stronger throughout this championship as they head down through Kimbolton corner back towards the Stowe Straight. She's being passed there through Kimbolton corner by, I believe that's Caden McQueen, the KR Sport driver.
Yeah, Caden McQueen, who had a very eventful Kart Masters Grand Prix final less than a week ago. Macaulay Bishop on the move there down the inside of the number 78 of Joshua Graham. Joshua Graham looking to get the same kind of form that we saw from the KR Sport driver when we visited Scotland earlier on in the season. There's the number 53 of Mark Kimber. Very interesting to see that Mark Kimber is back in the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. A lot of talk over what his role is in the Strawberry Racing team this weekend. Of course, they've got some good hopes for the likes of Teddy Pritchard-Williams, Callum Bradshaw as well. Teddy Pritchard-Williams, another driver there moving up through the order, as mentioned, is now into 12th place. Biggest mover in this race so far from the back of the field. Nicole, is Gustav Uzakovs up 6 positions to the P21. Yeah,
like we said previously, not where we would have expected to see him, but he has clawed back really quickly then. Somebody I'd like to maybe talk about quickly is Ewan Charman, who's sitting in 3rd. Ewan, previously in this championship, we've seen him on a Birrell. This weekend, he's entered with the Hunter Motorsport team. What do you think of that, Andrew?
Well, it's a move to the favoured chassis. Of course, a lot of the runners in this championship running machinery and materials from the OTK group, but we've seen Ewan Charman be able to get performance in the Birrell so far this season. Let's see if he can transfer that over to to the Carlos Sainz 55, the CS55 chassis that Hunter Motorsports are running across their fleet this season. Fastest lap of the heat so far, 40.22 seconds. Caden McQueen in 4th place. Back at the front of the order though, Guy Cunnington, kart number 52 there, second in the championship, ahead of Cian Geraghty. Cian Geraghty in good form in this middle part of the season, has had strong runs in the last 2 weekends of competition here on British shores. Not a very busy time of things in Europe as well, but this weekend it's all about trying to get more points on the board in this penultimate round of the season in Senior Rotax. 6.5 minutes to go. Mechanical failure for the number 25, Ralph Youngling. That's not the start to the weekend that Ralph would have wanted. He is out of this race.
Caden McQueen there just has got the move done on Cian Geraghty as Cian maybe tries to have a look. Wonder if they'll work together here to try and catch up to Guy Cunnington or carry on battling.
Indeed. New suit this weekend for Caden McQueen as well. I noticed you've been running his old YRDA suit for a while. He's now in full KR Sport colours, is there on the scene. Macaulay Bishop, great move down the inside of Cian Geraghty. He's got past Ewan Charman on this lap as well. So Bishop up to P3 now. It's a breakaway of 5. Joshua Graham on his own there in 6th place. Rachel Robertson still holding in the top 10. Mark Kimber at 1 spot from where he started in 8th. Angus Scrivener and Deacon Russell completing the top 10. So 5.5 minutes of this one to go. And even though this is the first heat, all the regular players are at the front of this one. You really start to feel, I think, at this stage of the season, Nicole, that those who have got the confidence from the first 3 rounds of the season, they're in that rhythm now. They know how these weekends play out. They're starting to deliver for their individual championship efforts and for the team's championship as well. Pearson Bullock Carter has had a warning. It's down the inside goes Bishop. Great move there into Derek's corner. That's him up to 2nd place.
Yeah, Macaulay Bishop then. He will be trying to have a look at Guy Cunnington very shortly to take the race lead as they head into the 90 left. Nice and late on the brakes, these drivers through that corner, because it's really important that they don't unsettle the kart. The track drops away slightly under the braking over there, so you watch them, really being strong on the wheel.
Well, this is good news for Macaulay Bishop. Started this race on the outside of row number 3. Once again, has clearly got a lot of pace in the Dan Holland Racing O-plated machine. As down the inside it goes, takes the race lead. Bishop leads for the first time this weekend, ahead of his closest rival in the championship, heading into this penultimate round of the year. Caden McQueen is still there in 3rd. There's been a change for 4th place as well. Looks like Ewan Charman, new driver in the Hunter Motorsport awning this weekend, has got ahead of Cian Geraghty.
Macaulay Bishop then going in very defensive to Stowe. Caden McQueen having a look into the willows on Guy Cunnington and has got the move done.
So good move there by Caden McQueen. Battle still raging on behind between Sharman and Joshua Graham. In fact, Cian Geraghty is crossing the gap now and is pulling himself back into this race. Would you say, Nicole, this is a style of racing that we often see here at Kimbolton? It's different. I know it's another one of those circuits that's built on an old airfield, a bit similar to Shennington in that regard. But that backstretch, that sequence of corners, it's again more akin to like where we were last time with Warden Law, and you do see the concertina effect a bit more dramatically than we saw last time out.
Yeah, I think as well, one small mistake compromises your whole run through that sector, because every corner really leads closely into the next. It's all about momentum around there. As we were talking earlier about biggest movers in this race, Gustav Uzakovs is still your biggest overtaker, 10 spots up there then into 17th.
Yeah, good work there from Gustav Uzakovs at this stage of the weekend. Gustav Uzakovs will just be looking to try and get into the top 28 in the intermediate classification. Why is that key? Well, that books you a spot straight into the pre-final and the main final tomorrow, and you won't need to fight your way through the repechage for one of the 6 last spots in those final stages. Caden McQueen putting Macaulay Bishop under a fair bit of pressure now with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Ken McQueen looking to the inside. Bishop closes the door there through the double right-hander once again of the Dan Weldon curve. Now taking things into Kestrel and round Kimbolton corner. Past us in the commentary box over the Hines Straight. Bishop edges away. He's got good speed out of that final corner. Bit further down the order, just to update you, Teddy Pritchard-Williams up 5 places in this race. He's into the top 10. Pearson Bullock Carter also up 5. He's just outside of it. And Luca Osmond-Price, we should note as well, having a strong run, Nicole. Another one of the Jack's Motorsport team looking to move forward. It's just broken up into the top 20.
I think as well, compared to maybe what we saw at Warden Law for our last round, for a first senior Rotax Heat, it's been pretty tame, Andrew.
It has. Again, I think that's drivers again thinking about the bigger picture, perhaps, that's at stake this weekend. Nobody wants to rule themselves out of the chance to win the championship when we go to Wilton Mill in around a month's time. Less than a minute to go on the clock then. Caden McQueen, patient at the wheel behind Macaulay Bishop right now. There's been a change for 4th place. Joshua Graham has got ahead of Cian Geraghty. So Joshua Graham playing his way into this. KR Sport are going to be pretty pleased with this performance so far. 2 drivers in the top 4. But it could get even better than that, because Macaulay Bishop has not been able to shake off Caden McQueen here. 30 seconds on the clock, so we're going to get 2 more laps in this one. Here is your battle for 4th place, Joshua Graham and Cian Geraghty. They've dropped Ewan Charman behind, and Mark Kimber a bit of a lonely 7th right now in his racing return to the Wera Tools British Kart Championships.
Rachel Robertson doing a good job there, though. She's not dropped off the pace of Mark Kimber, and she stays there very comfortably in front of Teddy Pritchard-Williams, who's definitely still going to be on the hunt. Like we said, another driver on the hunt is Joshua Graham. He got the move done a few laps ago on Cian Geraghty. There on your screens, Kimber comes round Kimbolton corner, late on the brakes, and a late apex to really give you that good drive down onto the straight. Some drivers through that corner tend to opt to use the exit curb, but others don't.
On to the final lap then. Macaulay Bishop has got a bit of a break from Caden McQueen. Has got a lead of probably around 5 kart lengths. Doesn't need to defend too hard through Derek's corner. Into the Dan Weldon corner now. This double apex right-hander. Ewan Charman looking like he's going to score good points here for 6th place. And a relatively calm run to the line then for Macaulay Bishop, who starts his weekend perfectly. Wins from the 3rd row of the grid. Caden McQueen, P2. A good return there from the 2nd row of the grid. Guy Cunnington, 3rd. Joshua Graham, P4. Cian Geraghty scores well once more there in 5th place, ahead of Ewan Charman, Mark Kimber. Rachel Robertson in the top 10 there. Teddy Pritchard-Williams up 6 spots to 9th, and Angus Scrivener. All of those drivers will be happy with those starts. They know another good run later on this afternoon, and they will be straight into the pre-final for tomorrow. Pearson Bullock Carter in 11th. Deacon Russell, his Jack's Motorsport teammate, followed him home in 12th. Good run there from Harry Hannam as well. 13th place for Jack Dex Racing in his first run out in this championship this year. Jack Collins in 14th, ahead of Ethan Martin, wrapping out the top 15. Neo Clark, Gustav Uzakovs. Uzakovs your biggest mover in that race, up 10 spots to 17th. Luke Bate, Luca Osmond-Price and Alex Adams-Acton all in the top 20. Those with work to do in the 2nd round of heats for each of these respective drivers. Benjamin Southgate, Jonathan Railton, Ollie Goodyear, Adish Mehta, Jack Gillingham, Zav Chapman-Lewis, all finishes there in the top 26. One retirement from that race, which was Ralph Youngling in the number 25. But a good first race there from the seniors. Our attention quickly moves, though, Nicole, to the junior category here this weekend, and plenty to look forward to for them here this weekend going into things. Harry Bartle, the championship leader, but very, very close battle with William Antrobus in 2nd place. Let's get on to it then. Junior Rotax Race 2, their first heat is up next. Let's take you through the grid then for the first heats for Junior Rotax this weekend. Harry Bartle and Jack West on the front row of the grid. Lizzie Mentier and Lewis Golf, great qualifying from them on row number 3. Joshua Turnbull and Scott Marsh on the third row of the grid, ahead of Thomas Min-Spearing and Cameron Nelson.
Row number 5 is Thomas Bierman and Henry Cameron. 6 is Ariman Banzal and Albie Lapper. Row number 7, we have Emily Cotti and William Antrobus, who showed us a quick lap earlier on. Maybe not so great of a qualifying for him earlier on.
Samir Paul and Noah Barham starts there on that 8th row of the grid. Kai Clark and Willie Marshall on row 9. Charlie Cox and Harrison Whitacombe start on the 10th row of the grid. Victor Hansen and Vlad Tomanchuk start on row 11. Finley Buck and Jacob Woods go up next. Charlie King and Adam Wooden on row 13. Stanley Clark and Jamie Ambrose start on row 14, and completing the 30 runners in this one, Shane Chandaria and Harrison Crowther. Not expected there to see Harrison Crowther at the very back of the grid. So, same scenario. This is Groups B and C with their first race of the weekend. Are we good for a start? Yes, we are. 10 minutes plus 1 lap underway. Very tight and congested down into the first couple of corners. One of the Sam Pollitt Racing drivers to the inside there. That might have been Lewis Goff. There's a few more drivers tripping over one another.
Scott Marsh and Behrman.
Yeah, Behrman involved, Scott Marsh as well. That's not a good start to them. I think Samir Paul has also not taken the start, according to the information that we've got in the box. So, bit of drama to confirm. Drivers in trouble through the first sector. Scott Marsh, Thomas Behrman, Henry Cameron and Albie Lapper are all delayed and late through the last part of the first sector. Doesn't mean that their weekend's done, of course, but they're now going to have to be on a bit of a damage limitation job through the rest of this race and the second set of heats later on today. On the move, Joshua Turnbull. Said in the intro to keep an eye out for him. Could be a big weekend for Joshua Turnbull. That's a nice move to take second place away from teammate Lizzie Mentier. Good start as well for Thomas Min-Spearing. They're in 4th place. So, biggest movers on that first lap is, well, a very, very mixed set of performances in terms of who's up, who's down. Harrison Crowther is your biggest mover on that first lap, up 13 spots to 17th. Down the inside goes Spearing for 3rd place. Lewis Goff lost 2 places off the start, so that's one of them back. And Jack West lost 4 as well. Intriguingly, Spearing immediately on the defence. Into the scene comes Ayman Bansal there in the number 48 for Strawberry Racing. Well, he had a very calm first race for the seniors, Nicole. This is a little bit different for the juniors, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. Lizzie Mentier, we've seen previously at this track, has been very, very strong. She obviously had a really good qualifying, has dropped back slightly in the early stages of this race, but I do think she'll make her way back up again as she finds her feet within this heat. As they come then through the 90 left, Harry Bartle is your leader. Very comfortable start to the race for him. Joshua Turnbull and Harry have pulled away nicely from the rest of the pack. Emily Cotti also out there having a good start to this race. Holds off William Antrobus quite nicely. Of course, William is a lap record holder, but Emily giving him a run for his money. As we can see on your screens there, the junior Rotax number 41, Cameron Nelson, has pulled into the pit lane.
Yeah, real shame for Cameron Nelson to be out of this one. That's 2 drivers no longer circulating side by side through there. I think that was William Archer on the move. Yes, it was. William Archer down the inside gets past Emily Cotti for a spot that I think brings Archer now, yes, into the top 10. Kai Clark is under investigation. That's a notification that we've just had in the box from Race Control. So we'll keep looking at that to see if there's any further news from that one. But Kai has had something occur that's attracted the attention of the race officials. Less than 7 minutes remaining in this one. Here we're having a look at the number 17 of Harrison Crowther coming through the order. 16 positions gained for Harrison Crowther so far in this race. William Antrobus, big weekend for William Antrobus. Disappointment last time out to not be able to take the full haul of championship points at Warden Law, but we know that Antrobus is in the mood for scoring big points here this weekend. That's another move from Harrison Crowther. He's on an absolute tear through the field, is Crowther. That's 18 positions now. Brilliant performance of the Coles Racing pilot.
I think after that qualifying, Harrison is definitely on a mission.
So, 6 minutes to go. Bit overcast here at the circuit. There is a little bit of a threat of rain. That's more for later on in the day, but right now everyone's setting green sector times. Pace is looking good, particularly for William Antrobus, who's just gone purple through sector number 2. There's Harrison Whitacombe on your screens for Argenti in the dark red helmet there. Difficult qualifying for Harrison Whitacombe. He's got to fight back there. He's gained 6 places so far in this race. Driver who heads into this weekend 3rd in the championship. Winner of the previous round at Warden Law, but still yet to, due to the circumstances of Harrison's season of races so far, he has 2 round wins, but is actually yet to have one or take victory and know that he's got it on the road. He wants to put that right this weekend. We've got one of the Strawberries you can see out of our commentary box window who's come to a stop. Trying to work out who that may be. We'll update you on that in due course. Jack West, new fastest lap of the race, Nicole.
I've also seen out of the box that Finley Buck has been awarded a 5-second time penalty.
Has indeed. So that'll be 5 seconds added to the race time of Finley Buck. It's Jamie Ambrose who's switched to Strawberry Racing for this latter part of the season, who is out of this race. Problems there in the number 45. Will fall down to 28th place. And this is the thing with Junior Rotax. It is a very busy run of drivers. 45 drivers in total racing this weekend across the category. 30 of them, so 2/3 of them out on circuit right now. Getting into that top 28 is going to be pretty difficult this weekend, particularly if you have an unfortunate first race. 4 minutes of this one to go. There is Lewis Goff, 3rd on the road at the moment. Has got the attention of Jack West. We're impressed with Jack West this season, and he's shown once again in this race, Nicole. Had a bit of a difficult start, but he's got back up to speed and is looking good there in 4th place.
Yeah, definitely. Harrison Crowther then, Andrew, still on the move. He's up 19 positions within this race.
Yeah, really good stuff from the Coles Racing. I think, yes, the top Coles Racing pilot in this race. Charlie Cox also out there. Has gained 4 places. Shane Chandari also on the move, we should note. Another driver in double figures of positions gained so far in this race into the top 20 now. Back with the battle between Goff and West. Feel at the moment that these two are trying to work together. They've got about a half second to find to reel back in Joshua Turnbull there in 2nd place. You see Turnbull having a little check over his left-hand shoulder there just to see how much of a battle buffer he's got. It's looking good right now, but he's got to keep himself focused for the remaining 3 minutes of this race. We haven't talked about our race leader much, Nicole, but again, Harry Bartle looking very strong. He's had that bad round well, by his standards, bad round at Lark Hall, the 2nd round of the season, but apart from that, very rarely outside of the top 3 at PF International and Warden Law. This is a big weekend, I feel, for Harry Bartle. He can really assert himself in this championship, take some of the pressure off potentially for the last round once we go to Wilton Mill with those, some good scores this weekend.
Yeah, I think with Harry's performances in this championship already, he's probably already asserted himself, but it's just probably going to be nice for him to know, after a little bit of bad luck at Lark Hall, a couple of maybe off weekends, that, he is still that one to try and beat.
Absolutely. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this one. Change for 7th place. Kai Clark through as another driver who's gained double figures in this race. That's 10 positions for the KR Sport. Number 77 has got past Lizzie Menzies, number 50 for DHR. Jacob Woods showing on our screen as under investigation. That's the latest bit of news from the race officials.
Joshua Turnbull has really been reeled back in by Lewis Goff there, as we see them come down the Stowe Straight. Yeah, I think he's going to be under a little bit of pressure very, very shortly, Andrew.
Yeah, he is. It's a busy couple of minutes remaining for Joshua Turnbull. It's a short lap here at Kimbolton. Less than a kilometre. Well, Lewis Goff down the inside doesn't need much of that kilometre to get through. Nicely done there. Sam Pollitt Racing continuing to have a really good season in the Rotax categories. Lewis Goff up to second place. I think he's going to have a bit too much to do to catch up to the race leader. They've only got a minute remaining on the clock. The gap between first and second is now 2.4 seconds to the nearest 10th, but good work there from Lewis Goff. Had that difficult start, but kept himself running, and is now looking at a second place in this first heat. That'll nicely set him up for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, just on the later stages of that lap then as well, his teammate Sam Pollitt, teammate William Antrobus did get the move done on Lizzie Mentier. So Kai Clark, William Archer as well then, both up 10 places. Harrison Crowther's still your biggest mover. Finley Buck up 11. Finn, that's a strong performance for him so far in this race. Good to see him putting in some hard work there.
It is, and it needs to be, because remember, he's got that 5-second penalty, so at the moment he would drop back down to 20th place. So Finley Buck effectively in a bit of a time trial for the remaining 2 laps of this race. And the useful thing is he's behind Harrison Crowther. Crowther, though, is caught up to Antrobus. It's that classic thing, isn't it? As you have it's an amazing first half of the race, tearing through the order, but the higher up the order they go, the more difficult the overtakes get. And there's not many more difficult overtakes in this junior Rotax category, Nicole, than trying to get past William Antrobus this season.
No, definitely knows where to put that cart and how to race. You know, he will give you a run for your money, and it doesn't really matter who he's racing, I don't think.
Well, saying that, Crowther has got through and passed Antrobus for 10th place. What a drive this is from Harrison Crowther. Harrison Whitcomb in there as well. So these are all drivers who would fancy themselves at getting one of the top 10 plates at the end of the season. Right now, though, they're fighting over 10th place in this heat. Howie Bartle is through the first sector and into the second sector here on the final lap of the race. There is your race leader, clear by 2.1 seconds. Lewis Goff still circulating second ahead of Joshua Turnbull and Jack Weston. I think they'll hold that one to the end. Bartle wins. Brilliant run there from Howie Bartle from pole position. Maximum points from the first round of heats. Second place to Lewis Goff. Third to Joshua Turnbull. Jack West fourth. Good return there from the first row of the grid. Thomas been spearing in fifth. Ariman Bansal, underrated drive there from Bansal. A gain of 5 places. The driver flying the flag for India and into the top 6. Good work there for Strawberry Racing. Kai Clark up 10 positions. The first of those in double figures of positions gained. 10 of them for Clark. 10 of them for William Archer as well, with 8th place. Lizzie Mentier, 9th, biggest mover in that race. From the back of the field, Harrison Crowther gains 22-0 positions and gets back up into the top 10. That is a mighty drive from Harrison Crowther. William Antrobus, Harrison Whitcomb, Finley Buck and Noah Barham all finished on the top 15 on the road, completed by Charlie Cox. Remember, though, that Finley Buck has a 5-second penalty applied in race, so will fall down the order a little bit. Vlad Tomanchuk, Charlie King, Emily Cottage, Shane Chandaria and Jacob Woods all in the top 20 on the road. Victor Hansen, Henry Cameron, Thomas Behrman, Adam Wooden and Stanley Clark take us down to 25th. There's some big names in the lower third of that order. Albie Lapper, P26. Scott Marsh, P27. The last of the finishers, 3 retirements in that race. Jamie Ambrose, Cameron Nelson and Samir Paul. Well, there we go. We will see Junior Rotax back out on circuit at 3:50 local time, so just over an hour's time for what will be the second heat of the weekend. It'll be the first run for Group A, the second for Group C. Always interesting to see how the tyres play into that one. For now, though, let's turn our attention to Mini Max 950. Story of the season so far for these drivers. Everybody on the one single grid. Albie Friend is currently your championship leader on 556 points. Finley Lines, P2, 537. Joshua Griffin completes the top 3 at the moment on 509. Wins so far this season in finals. Friend took the round victory at PF International to start the season and last time out at Warden Law, with a win for Emerson McAndrew UN at Lock Hall. Emerson has a terrible look in the final at Warden Law. Be looking to strike back in this one. Let's get ready for it. Minimax 950, their first heat is up next. 26 drivers raring to go for their race weekends, and it is Emerson McAndrew UN on pole position in Heat 1. Is joined by Championship leader Albie Friend. Oliver Spencer and Finlay Lyons will look to break through from the second row of the grid. Immediately behind on row 3 is Lyons' teammates Luca Holmes-Ballack, and is joined by Max Gilman on that third row of the grid. Joshua Griffin and Harry Taylor form up row number 4.
Row number 5, we have Jensen Chalk and Edward Haynes. 6 will be Riley Murrow and Josh Cormack, and 7 will be Max Wheatley and Louis Radcliffe.
Tom Reed and Leo Livings go from row number 8. Theo Bradshaw and Benjamin Lawn will look to move up from the 9th row of the grid, completing the top 20. It's Alfie Ward and Devin Taylor. Alex Goodson and Fraser Anderson start on row 11. Archie Rogers Tyler and Jacob Jack on row 12. The 13th and final row for this one will be Sebastian Clark and Annika Hurd. Annika did have a bit of an incident earlier in the practice session, so we'll remain to see whether Annika has been signed off by the medical crew to be back into this race in due course. So, 10 minutes plus 1 lap upon us once again. Minimax 950, very talented group of drivers here. And I do believe, unfortunately, we haven't got the 180, so do wish Annika the quickest of recoveries. I know she was going under a medical assessment earlier on, and of course the safety of the drivers paramount to make sure. It doesn't mean that Annika is out of the weekend. Could, if there's a sign-off later on in the weekend from the medical crew, we'll hopefully see the Australian driver back out on circuit. But only 25 drivers. Have we already had a bit of drama on the... Yes, we have. Finlay Lyons. Finlay Lyons is in a bit of bother here. It's had some kind of mechanical hiccup on the formation lap. Now, this is not the first time we have seen this for Finlay Lyons in 2024.
He is playing with the radiator there, maybe looking at the choke, but I don't know. Yeah, he's had a few similar issues recently, Andrew. Not the best start. You know, he is fighting for that championship. Last year he was, I believe, 3rd in the mini-maxes, 2023 round here. Maybe looks like he has got it going, but he's going to start at the back of the grid.
And away we go then, 10 minutes plus 1 lap. There's already been drama before we've even got racing in Minimax 950. Down into the first couple of corners. Fred trying to go around the outside of McAndrew UN.
He stopped.
And has got through it. There's more trouble for Finlay Lyons at the back of the field. There just doesn't seem to be the required amount of go for the Synergy there at the moment. But what an aggressive start that was from Albie Friend. Took on Emerson McAndrew UN through the first corner, round the outside, and has the lead. The GP plate winner from last weekend at PF International. I think is that Oliver Spencer having a bit of a gesture there in the middle of the field. It was one of the DHRs. It looks like Riley Murrow is also on the move for Sam Pollitt Racing, so a lot of changes on that first lap. It's Friend from McAndrew UN. Max Gilman's had a good start, up 3 places to 3rd. Luca Holmes-Ballack in 4th. Oliver Spencer drops 2 to 5th. Mega start for Louis Radcliffe, up 7 places. The 183 for Sam Pollitt Racing is up to 7th place. That is a brilliant run. Warning flag as well for the 144 of Theo Bradshaw.
Albert Friend then pulled away really nicely. I don't know what the Strawberry Racing team have been given their drivers for breakfast this morning, but we saw a similar start from Harry Bartle in the previous junior Rotax race.
We did indeed. This is where drivers will look to just get into a rhythm now. As we get to the middle part of this race, Radcliffe is continuing the move up the field, has got past Joshua Griffin for 6th place. 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Who else has had a good start? Tom Reed has had one, up 5 places and into the top 10. So keep an eye out for the 111 coming through the field. Leo Livings has also had a good start, up 3 places to 13th, and flying the flag for South Africa this weekend, Devin Taylor. Well, it's not been good news for the lead Synergy Factory Kart in this race, but good news for Devin Taylor, who's up 4 places to 16th. 7 minutes and 45 seconds to go. End of lap number 3. Friend leads by 0.38, but Emerson McAndrew is ever so slightly quicker, as down the inside there looks Tom Reed for potentially a move on his teammate Jensen Chalk. That was into Stoke Corner for 9th place. Edward Haynes is your fastest driver on the road right now. Edward Haynes has had some bright results so far this season. Got a bit of work to do in this one though. Has lost 3 places off the start. Is there in 13th place. We'll hope this one can come back to him. You see the 153 of Harry Taylor for DHR, the bright yellow and purple Hamilton-esque helmet livery, and a very good start to the season, looking to get things back on track here at Kimbolton. And once again, Nicole, as we've seen throughout the course of this Minimax 950 season, it's very, very busy in that kind of second half of the top 10 region. No, round goes Tom Reed. 3 into 1, not going, and that is not good news for Tom Reed, who was up 5 places in the early stages of this race and now finds himself has got going again. That's good to see, but Tom Reed's hard work comes to nothing. Unfortunate moment there.
Yeah, unfortunate indeed. Obviously, Tom Reed in the Strawberry Racing team, but his mechanic is Dave Tooley, who is previously a big part of the Tooley Motorsport team. Yep. You know, can tell a kid definitely how to race. So I think after they come in from that race, they're going to be probably having a chat and trying to work out how Tom can get back up the field later on. Not the result he would have wanted. Finley Lines, then I can see him as just drove past the box that we're sat in. He has got going again on your screens. Emerson McAndrew Uren continues to take out time from Albert Friend's race lead. Emerson, of course, 2023, he won the Micromax round here, pulled it in quali, very, very strong. I think at the start of the year, that jump up to Minimax was maybe a little bit challenging, but I think in the past couple of weeks, he's really found his feet.
I tend to agree. It's been a very impressive run from Emerson McAndrew, and I think it was an unfortunate end, a mechanical failure that took him out of the final last time out at Warden Law, but he had the pace, even when the exhaust was half hanging off the cart, which must have been at least a couple of % of performance being knocked off the what the 133 could do, and he was still holding his own there. And with drop scores yet to come into play this season, don't count out Emerson McAndrew in this title battle. What can he do, though, about Albie Friend here, though, at the front of the order? Louis Radcliffe has got back up to 7th place, past his teammate Riley Murrow. You can see the orange and blue livery of the Sam Pollitt Racing team in the background. Less than 5 minutes to go in this race. And it's on at the front of the order. 43.70 for Friend, 43.65 for Emerson McAndrew. Into the Willows now, this sequence of bends, back and forth, into what is going to be an overtaking opportunity this weekend. Derek's corner, but Friend has got a good run down the straight there into Derek's. Doesn't need to defend too hard, and Albie Friend as well, a lot of experience here in this Minimax category. He'll know how to deal with these races. What's the pace like behind? Luca Holmes-Ballack losing out at the moment to the top 2. A couple of other changes to report out there on circuit. Josh Cormack's got past Jensen Chalk for 9th place. Harry Taylor and Edward Haynes have also re-overtaken Leo Living's. Good scrap going on there, all for places in the top 10, Nicole.
Yeah, definitely. You just said about what's going on pace-wise in the field. Finley Lines is one of the faster drivers out there on circuit, so whatever the issue was with that kart at the start that we saw, seems as if it solved itself. Yeah, he's got going again.
Well, I think the problem for Finley Lines and the Synergy team there is to put the engineering hat on. That's got all the telltale signs of an intermittent issue, arguably the worst kind of issues where they come and go.
The hardest to find.
Hardest to find, hardest to fix, hardest to resolve, and they've not got a lot of time to get to the bottom of it before Finley Lines' second heat later on this afternoon. Just over 3 minutes remaining on the clock. Josh Cormack has got past Riley Morrow for 8th place out there on the road. Tom Reed is also recovering back through the field after that moment down at the first corner earlier on in this race. He's back into the top 20. He's just disposed of Theo Bradshaw for 19th place. Bad news, unfortunately, for Alex Goodson. Goodson has fallen down to 25th place. That's to the benefit of Jacob Jack, Archie Rogers, Tyler, Fraser Anderson and Finlay Lyons. They've all gained a spot. It's a bit of a tough race for Theo Bradshaw. I just mentioned he'd lost that 19th place to Tom Reed. He's just received a warning flag and is under investigation. Bit of a rough ride out there for another one of the Synergy factory team. 2.5 minutes to go. No changes at the front or in the battle for 3rd place. Oliver Spencer with KR Sport is looking down the inside of Luca Holmes-Balak. That's beautifully done. Brilliant stuff from Oliver Spencer. Sweeps through into 3rd place. I tell you what, across the categories that we've had so far today, this afternoon, Nicole, KR Sport looking strong this weekend.
Definitely. Ollie Spencer as well, podium here last year, so I know he's a confident kid. He'll be coming into this as Luca Holmes-Balak goes back through in Kimbolton corner, back in on Oliver Spencer. I think we jinxed him there a little bit, Andrew.
But he's going to come back here down into Stowe. Good scrap this for 3rd place. Can Spencer get the braking right? Yes, he can. Brilliant stuff from Ollie Spencer. Off the main racing line, you could see the rear axle squirming around there. Did very well to keep that one under control. And look, here comes Max Gilman trying to go around the outside of Luca Holmes-Balak. Joshua Griffin now on the scene as well in the number 5. Brilliant scrap this for 3rd place in this first heat. Luca Holmes-Balak trying to make an opening work there through Dan Weldon into Kestrel now. Oliver Spencer trying to make his Minimax 950 cards as wide as possible. Very close quarters racing as in comes Josh Cormack as well. Josh Cormack in the 1-2-1. Fastest driver on the circuit at the moment, down into Stowe once again on the inside. Spencer's holding them all off as in comes Louis Ratcliffe. In comes Harry Taylor. I think Edward Haynes is also going to want a part of this. And we've still got a bit of time on the clock. Down the inside looks Cormack on Griffin. Griffin holds it round the outside for 5th place. This is going to mean for Friend and Makaji that they're clear, they're gone. There's some 3 to 4 seconds up the road now from this pack. Oliver Spencer, though, doing a brilliant job to hold on to this 3rd place as through goes Joshua Griffin. Griffin up into 4th place now.
Ollie Spencer, though, retook the lead of that pack very cleverly. He's out there now trying to stay out of trouble, and watch this group scrap now. Edward Haynes there having a look through the willows, gets the move done on that DHR driver. Is that Harry Taylor?
It is Harry Taylor. It is Harry Taylor indeed. I think all these drivers know this sequence of corners, this last couple of laps with so many drivers in close proximity could really make the difference. Not just in the intermediate classification. After 2 rounds of heats, it's side by side. Taylor and Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe out on the grass pulls a lot of detritus back onto the circuit. Thankfully, it's not in a braking zone. There is Luca Holmes-Balak down the inside. It's onto the final lap go the race leaders. Friend and McAndrew, they're gone. I think they'll just bring this home nice and calmly to a 1st and 2nd place battle. Has Luca Holmes-Balak trying to defend there from Josh Cormack. Cormack does the switchback, gets through. That's 5th place for Josh Cormack. Good hustle there from the fastest lappers. No, we're not going to have a nice calm run to 1st and 2nd places because Mr. McAndrew is on the attack here with Albie Friend down the inside. What a race this has been to open things for Minimax 950 this weekend at Kimbolton. Can Albie Friend hold on for race victory as one kart is in the pits now? The race, it might be Alex Goodson. Albie Friend does hold on by 0.11 of a second, takes maximum points from Heat 1 in a pulsating finish there ahead of Emerson McAdoo. Oliver Spencer completes the top 3 with a really, really good defensive piece of driving there. Went on the attack in the middle phase of the race, then held on to that 3rd place by 0.04 of a second ahead of Joshua Griffin. Josh Cormack makes it into the top 5 there as well. Really good race there from Minimax 950. We'll see them again in just over an hour's time. We're going to take a short break here at Kimbolton and be back very, very soon with more action with Micromax out next. Welcome back to Kimbolton. First day of racing action for Event 7 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Andrew Mather and Nicole Sutherland on commentary duties for you here this afternoon. Next race out on circuit, race 4, Heat 1 for Micromax. Let's take you through the grid then for 28 drivers getting ready for their first race of the weekend. Sebastian Behrmann won the GP plate last weekend, has pole position for this one, is joined by Dian Pahal on the front row of the grid. Maximilian Eberhardt and Arthur Farrow go from row number 2 ahead of Alfie Mayer and Ava Lawrence on row 3. Lucian Smith and Luke Millward, they go from row 4.
Row number 5 is Joss Hushka and Max Jolly. 6 will be championship leader Austin Oman and Albert Farrow. Row number 7, George Swire and Alfie Garrett. And 8 will be Harry Radcliffe and Joshua Cook.
Benedictas Masiokas and Charlie Page go from row 9 ahead of Oliver Dawson and Buddy Hugo wrapping out the top 20. Row 11, George Climo and Kuryo Kuyotake representing Japan. Ansel Murray and Logan Rolfe go from row 12. James Roots and Harris Barr on row 13. James Devereaux and Chloe McGill on row 14. The formation not to the standards of liking of Nigel Edwards and Dan Ashton out there, so we go around again. Is that a problem for Max Jolly? Yes, it is. Max Jolly is out of this heat before it's even begun. Well, the roller coaster season for Max Jolly in Micromax UK unfortunately continues. That is a real shame. Was due to start this race from the 5th row of the grid. That is a real shame for Max Jolly, a driver we were looking forward to see have a good one here from inside the top 10. But the consolation, at least, all of these drivers do go through to their pre-finals. No repecharge in this one, so it's not all over for Max Jolly. Into the tram lines then. Eyes on those lights. They're out. We're racing for the first time this weekend in Micromax UK. Good start for Sebastian Behrmann. Dian Pahal on the outside is going to be challenged by Maximilian Eberhardt. Here comes Alfie Mayer as well. The first of the zips there. The privateer in the number 15. Through the willows for the first time. All looking pretty calm so far. And Sebastian Behrmann already trying to break away. The thing is, though, the nature of Micromax UK. As one of the strawberries looked to be having a bit of a moment there in the middle of the pack. That may have been Kuryo Kuyotake or Harris Barber. It's, I think Logan Rolfe was involved in that one as well. Everybody's got going again and is through the first sector. As on the attack, Dian Pahal. Dian Pahal, who has provided arguably the most entertainment so far this season across all the classes in the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. A fighter there in kart number 23, immediately back up to second place. It was Harris Barber who was having that moment for Strawberry Racing in the number 12 on the entry to Derek's corner. Thankfully, though, Harris has got back into the race and is only a couple of seconds off the back of the main pack.
Ava Lawrence then in there as well. She's Australian but lives in Dubai. She's come over to the UK for the British Kart Championship. She's sitting there in 7th, dropped down from 6th, but a really good qualifying from her. She said to me yesterday she wasn't expecting too much out of quali, but she's definitely put a good 3 laps in there, got through a good 3-lap average and is having a good start to this weekend. Like we said about Dian Pahal as well previously, Dian did lose second to Alfie Mayer there. And as I say it, I was talking about a couple of laps ago, but he's just lost second there again into Stowe. Dian very entertaining both on and off the track. Very, very good overtaker indeed. Sebastian Behrmann continues to lead the race. I think we were talking about some other drivers earlier on, like Emerson McAndrew-Urin in the Mini, who's kind of found his feet, and I think Sebastian Behrmann is one of those similar drivers. GP plate holder now then, and won the last round at Warden Law. He's doing a really, really good job, in my opinion, Andrew.
Absolutely, and great work as well between Jack's Motorsport and the Project One team, the formation, the group that started early in 2024. They are doing a very good job at the moment with Sebastian Behrmann, who for me is one of my most improved drivers of 2024 across the scene in British karting. Arthur Farrow is your fastest driver out there, 47.42. They lose a couple of positions off the start. Oh, down the inside. Lovely stuff from Lucian Smith. Gets through and past Sebastian Behrman. So here we go then. 7 minutes remaining. And the battles at the front have well and truly begun. We have seen this a lot across the course of 2024. If you remember back to some of the fantastic racing we had, particularly at Lark Hall for the second meeting, the second round for Micromax UK. Every single race in this category left us breathless at the end of it. Very difficult for a race leader to break away from a chasing pack such as this.
Yeah, I was just about to say a similar thing, Andrew. We've seen in this championship so far, the race win typically isn't fought after by 2 or 3 drivers that you might see similarly in other classes. We see kind of 8, 9, 10 drivers towards the later stages of every race looking for that race win. It's always a pretty big train of karts in this Micromax class.
I tell you what as well, it's interesting to see some newer drivers coming up to the fore in the top 5 to perhaps break the mould of the form book. The one that's jumping out at me is Josh Hushka in 4th place at the moment, the kart number 55 for Sam Pollitt Racing. This is one of the strongest runs of the year so far for Josh there.
Whoa!
As very, very close through and in towards the Willows. I think that's Alfie Mayer getting a little bit wide, and there's a nicely rubbered in line on the inside there that if you get off of it, it can become a very tricky moment for any of these drivers. Great scrap going on in the midfield here. This is all around Albert Fair in the number 42. He's just holding inside the top 10 at the moment. There's George Climo, and George doing a brilliant job. He's up 7 places so far in this race into 14th. Racing for Coles Racing now. He's having to deal with George Swire. George Swire, who knows a thing or two about overtaking. That's some magnificent drives through the field so far this season, has George. 5 minutes remaining in this one. Lucian Smith leading the race. I've got to say, the pace between Smith and Behrman, very, very good. Both of them in the 47.2s. They're breaking away from Dean Pahal behind us here on the attack. That was the number 80 going down the inside. Is that a bit of a recovery drive for one of the Strawberries? Yes, it's Xavier Lawrence, new to the championship for this season, flying the flag for the UAE. Australian-born driver is up to 8th.
I do think as well there we had a change in positions for 3rd place. Josh Hushka, I think, has gone in on Dean Pahal for that 3rd position. Yeah, so we're seeing now as well, Andrew, our 1, 2, 3 are all rookie drivers.
They are indeed. It's been good to see a new crop of drivers come through. Obviously in 2023 we were talking a lot about, you know, your mechanical ends and a really, really rich talent pool of drivers who stepped up, and I think some may have thought at the start of the year that, you know, this group of Micromax UK drivers might not be able to match that. Well, I think they've completely put those questions to bed over the course of the last 3 rounds. They have produced some fantastic close racing, and in a way I'd even say that I think the talent pool is even deeper this year. And look at Luke Millwood there. Luke Millwood's had a very good season so far as climber down the inside of George Swire. That's a lovely move back up into 13th place. Luke Millwood at the back of this group, you know, driver who was championship leader earlier on in the season, is now, you know, having to fight for, and they are big fights for the minor placings in the top 20.
Yeah, 2nd in this championship then Luke is, and I think being that far down the order, he's going to need to put in some work for the rest of these heats and following the rest of the weekend. There then on your screens are 2 race leaders, Lucian Smith and Sebastian Behrman. Lucian driving a really, really mature race. You know, you can see they're not actually teammates, even though they've got, you know, the same suits on, both Jack's motorsport suits, but Lucian is with KR Sports. But yeah, kind of working quite nicely together at the minute to keep pulling that gap away from Josh Hushka, who continues to lead in front of Dean Pahal.
And I tell you what, as well, that I think is really good in this this category this year, Nicole, is because it's so close, it leans a massive emphasis on clean racing.
Yes.
Because a 5-second penalty for a front fairing, for example, you're
gonna
dropping
be
all the way down. You're dropping from out, you know, in that top 3 at the moment, all the way down to around 21st position. It's teaching these young drivers the racecraft skills that they will require if they're to have future motorsport careers. Number 26 there, Harry Ratcliffe. Oh, that's
well,
all getting a little bit close.
Is off. Ava Lawrence, the strawberry driver that we were previously talking about, and the Sam Pollitt driver. Is that Harry Radcliffe?
Yeah, Harry Ratcliffe. There's damage to the front of Ava Lawrence's number 80 as well.
Nasso panel is tucked behind the nose cone there, you could see. I don't know if maybe that would be a technical flag. We'll find out and see, but such a shame. She was doing a really good job so far in this race.
Yeah, and that's the difficult thing for drivers, you know, at this younger age. Sometimes they can get a little bit impatient when they're in a big group such as that.
There's a reference kind of drivers and teams tend to use. It's losing your head. And I think the younger drivers maybe experience that a little bit more. Not to say that the older drivers don't, but I think that's just a maturity thing. When you're a bit younger, I used to do it when I was a Honda cadet. I still did it when I was a senior. So,
so 1 minute and 20 seconds of this one to go. Still plenty to play for as well. George Climo is your biggest mover at the moment. 10 positions gained for the number 83, and is up to P11. No change at the front of the order. Smith and Behrman have worked a really nice 1.5 second gap over Josh Huska. Joshua Cook quietly getting on with business again. The O-plate from the very start of the season at Wilton Mill. The season finishes at Wilton Mill for the final round of these Wera Tools British Kart Championships, and look out for some interesting announcements in due course regards what you can experience at that event. I'll hold my tongue on the rest of it for now. 30 seconds of this one remaining though. Good run as well for Arthur Farrow. He's going to be scoring good points here. Arthur can bring it home in the top 8. Still very close between Smith and Behrman. I just wonder what will be going through the mind of Behrman right now, because this is a very good race for him in terms of championship, because the two drivers ahead of him in the standings, well, Owen is in 5th place in this race, Millward 13th. A lot of work to do for Behrman. He's got a 18-point deficit to Austin Oman at the start of this weekend, but race results like this will move some way to start reducing that, particularly if you get some help from the likes of Joshua Cook there. Cook down the inside, taking another position away from Austin Owen. Final lap board is out then. And here we go, Smith and Behrman into the Willows. Through they go. Smith looking nice and calm at the wheel of his number 44. It's a little quick check over the shoulder. It's going to move to driver's left. Behrman, there's simply no way through there. Good braking from Lucian Smith. Didn't overrun that run into Derek's corner. Very difficult thing to do, Nicole, when you're off that racing line.
Yeah, definitely. I think Derek's, it's a little lift and you don't want to run too wide on the exit. You know, you want that really nice line down to the bottom corner, down to Dan Weldon, as Sebastian Behrman did have a look there at Lucian Smith as we go through the Kimbolton corner. Down the straight they come, and over the finish line it will be Lucian Smith who takes that race win ahead of Sebastian Behrman.
Really good run then for Lucian Smith, who takes the first heat of the weekend in Micromax UK. Sebastian Behrman continuing the good form from last time out at Warden Law and at PFI less than 1 week ago. Dean Pahal third, Josh Huska and Maxwell Abrahart complete the top 5. All the results can be reviewed at your leisure over on the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships website. For now, though, we're going to take a short break here and be back once again here at Kimbolton. Out next, it's KZ2. So here we go then, out onto circuit for the first heat of their weekend. It's KZ2. Two formation laps for us to get through the grid on this one. Jake Weston has pole position for KZ2's first heat. Ella Stevens on the front row again, a repeat of her strong qualifying performance from Shennington. Charlie Turner and Josh Price, first and second in the championship, are on row number 2. Derek Morgan and Sam Ward on row 3. James Glenister, winner last time out at Shennington, starts on row 4 alongside Miles Murphy.
Row number 5 will be Ashley Lewis alongside Ryan Green. 6 is Lee Ward and Daniel Sabula. Row number 7 is Brian Kittle and George Barker. And rounding off your 15 kart grid is Bryn Kinch.
So, championship scenario at the moment. This season well underway now. They had a full round alongside the Rotax runners at Warden Law. They had a double header at Shennington a few weeks ago. So after 3 rounds of 6, it's Josh Price who leads the championship on 436 championship points. Charlie Turner 20 points back. Third is Lee Ward on 404. Fourth, Ashley Lewis 401. Ella Stevens, the E-Plate winner at Shennington Super Prix earlier on in the summer as well. 5th place in 395. And I'm particularly interested, Nicole, to see how Ella Stevens does with the race starts, because they really were the downfall for Ella Stevens at Shennington last time out.
Yeah, but she is very, very quick round this track. She won here last year at the round, 2023. But yeah, let's see how she gets off with the starts. But I don't think it will be too much of a problem here. She does a lot of laps around Kimbolton. Yeah, and like I said, she won the round here last year, so expecting big things from her this weekend.
So, Jake Weston has pole position for more racing. Could be on for a first win of the season so far with a good one here. Jake Weston needs to get that launch on the lights. Here they come in sequence. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights. KZ2 is go here at Kimbolton, and it's a great start for both drivers on the front row of the grid. It's a great start as well for Josh Price. Price going round the outside. Miles Murphy is at an absolute flyer from the 4th row of the grid and is already up to P2. I think Charlie Turner was on the move as well in the middle of the pack, but what a start. Jake Weston under pressure got it off the line, but how did Miles Murphy weave his way through from the 4th row of the grid? On the attack immediately is Josh Price down the inside of Ella Stevens. That's good for 3rd place. Here's Sam Ward. First time we've seen Sam Ward in racing action in the championship in 2024, is immediately up to 4th place. But as we come to expect with KZ2, a frenetic start as Charlie Turner is fending off Derek Morgan there for 5th place. Ella Stevens, the first lap again for Ella Stevens. It's not gone her way, is down to 7th place. Here is a battle between James Glenister and Ryan Green. I think it's gone wrong even more for Ella Stevens. She might be down to around 10th place.
Ella then, she had a really good start. She actually got off, I think she was sitting in 2nd or 3rd, but coming through Kimbolton corner, she just kind of got hung out to dry on that first lap. I think she's dropped back down again, Andrew, to see where she comes across the line. So, lost 8 positions. She's sitting there in 10th. We do see typically from her, she picks up the pace again, though, halfway through the race. We'll watch to see if she does that. But Jake Weston, sat there, still taking the lead. Miles Murphy up 6 positions. Like you said, how did Miles manage that on the first lap?
And this is the old Miles Murphy. He's had a very up and down season so far in 2024, but there were some signs towards the end of the Shennington doubleheader weekend that the kind of form that we know that Miles Murphy is capable of might be returning, and he's closing in now. New fastest lap of the race, 35.93. It's a more racing 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment in this one. Well, they've definitely got the setup right for these early stages of these races. Sam Ward now ahead of Charlie Turner. This is the fight for 4th place. Running out onto the back run now towards Derek's corner. Miles Murphy, can he find a way through? Can be a bit difficult sometimes to get a move done in these slightly bigger and faster machines, and he talked about the short braking zones here, Nicole, at Kimbolton. I tell you what, Josh Price is coming back as well. This is going to be a really good scrap between the three teammates early on in this weekend. 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go.
Charlie Turner then on your screens. He did get the move done on that previous lap on Sam Ward. Charlie was on the podium here last year, 2023. Good driver around Kimbolton and just in general. Going back then onto the race leader, Miles Murphy is there on your screens, coming out of Kimbolton, down the straight and into Stowe. Trying to have a look at your race leader to see if he can get it done. But yeah, I think previously we saw him maybe have a little bit of a look around the 90 left. Just got it slightly wrong, dropped back ever so slightly, but he'll definitely be having to put some work in to catch up to Jake Weston there.
And the eagle-eyed amongst you will note that we are having a slightly different circuit layout for the KZ2s. They do not take a 90-degree left and then into a right for Derek's corner. They go straight on to the Dan Weldon corner at blistering speed. Jake Weston getting into a nice rhythm though. This is good to see. Driver who was had a good run through the heats last time out into the final, was 5th in the final at Shennington in the second round, and was strong on the first day as well when he's in another top 5 through the heats, through that part of the competition. And after that early pressure from Miles Murphy, just stretching it away now. And look at that, new fastest lap of the race from Josh Price, 35.43, about a tenth and a half quicker thereabouts than Miles Murphy. Jake Weston also in the 35.4s. No changes of position up and down the order, so they stay Weston from Murphy, Price from Turner, Sam Ward in 5th, Derek Morgan, James Glenister, Ryan Green, Lee Ward and Ella Stevens. That is your top 10. Ashley Lewis in 11th place at the moment. You would have hoped for a bit of a better result than that, but still 5 minutes of this one to go. Daniel Cebula in 12th. One of the drivers gaining experience every single lap he competes here in KZ2. It's ahead of Byron Kittle, Bryn Kinch and George Barker. Change for 9th place, Ella Stevens. Well, you said, Nicole, that she had good pace around this circuit. She's just got past Lee Ward for 9th place. Realistically, how far up do we think Stevens can go in the remaining time and plus 1 lap?
Whoa, well, she's 6 seconds behind the race leader. I think she could get to maybe 6th or 7th within this. I don't want to say she'd get too far up there. It might be slightly unrealistic considering, the top 3 are working quite nicely together there to just kind of pull away.
Something we should note as well, race leader under investigation, the number 16 of Jake Weston. Not absolutely clear to us in the box what that may be for, but either way, bit of work for the race officials to do. May amount to nothing, of course, but it is there on our screens. 4 minutes to go. So 1, 2, 3 for more racing.
Saying that about race leader, he's not really had any drivers tried to make any moves yet. He's not made any moves, so it might be something to do with the starting procedure. From what I've seen on my screen so far, he's not really had any karts too close to him to get any kind of contact penalty, but we will keep an eye out for that. We'll see how that goes. Going back then to these drivers, Andrew, question for you. You watch these KZ2 karts, the way they're shifting the gears, they're getting their head down, it's so fast, it's so full on, hard work. Would you ever have a go?
I'd love to have a go, but I think I'd last about half a lap before my head would
Could
fall
just
off.
sit in it and have to get back out again.
Exactly. 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Derek Morgan has made a move, has got past Sam Ward for 5th place. So Morgan back up to where the number 7 kart started in this one. Ella Stevens is going along very quickly indeed. A new fastest lap of the race from the plate holder, 35.13. Now the job at hand, trying to get past Ryan Green for 8th place.
Said this about Ella, didn't we? She really gets going halfway through the race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's similar to what we saw at Shennington in the doubleheader last time out. Stevens has got through for that 8th place. He's got to find another 0.7 of a second up the road for Glenister. Jake Weston still leading this race, 1.17 seconds the advantage. Miles Murphy there in 2nd place. Josh Price in 3rd. Back with Charlie Turner there in 4th place. Just set a new personal best as Charlie Turner, 35.34, to another driver who looks to be finishing this race strongly.
Watch the number 2 then on your screens, just clipping that curb. And the way he handles the kart then, you know, one-handed, clipping the curb like nothing. And the number 7.
Derek Morgan in trouble on the main straight. He looks to be out of this race.
That's
what a shame.
right on the racing line as well.
It's a real shame for Derek Morgan. He's trying to get things going. Dan Ashton across say, get out the kart. We need to get this kart off the circuit as quickly as possible. That is a real shame for Derek Morgan. He's now trying to get the kart restarted and has done. So he's back into the race, but has fallen down to 14th position. Bryn Kinch, we should mention as well, is also out of this race.
Sorry, Andrew, do you think that could have been a driver error there?
Could have been a bit of a fluff on the gears, but either way, it's not how Derek Morgan would have foreseen the latter stage of this race. Now some 32 seconds behind the race leaders as now a move there. That was Glenister being pointed through by Sam Ward. Now they're not on the same team, so that's not a bit of teammates coordination at that point of the circuit, but clearly Sam Ward feeling that James Glenister warranted the move through into 5th place. Less than a minute to go. Derek Morgan has retired, is out of this race, has been shown the blue flag, and quite sensibly has pulled it into the pits. Will at least save his tyres a little bit. An element we did see at Shennington be quite the factor. Tyre life on the Lacan rubber going far into these weekends. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Miles Murphy, brilliant start, but looking under a lot of pressure now from championship leader Josh Price, and the driver second in the championship, Charlie Turner, right behind as well.
Charlie there into Stowe having a look, and he's got the move done on Price.
Good move there from Charlie Turner. And this championship fight between these two really starting to bubble away. Turner not wanting to allow an opportunity for Josh Price to reply and counter-attack back into 3rd place. This is allowing Miles Murphy to just ease away now and hopefully get, for his sake, one of the best results the number 4 has achieved so far in 2024. Final lap then. Well, what about this run from Jake Weston? He has got himself well and truly dialed in to this Kimbolton circuit this weekend. The driver from Doncaster has had strong qualifyings before this season, but this is a big step forward for Jake Weston in terms of race performances. Down towards the last couple of corners now. Brilliant work by Jake Weston. Leads by 2.5 seconds over a very experienced field. Jake Weston wins Heat 1 here at Kimbolton. Second for Miles Murphy, a return to form for Miles Murphy. 3rd for Charlie Turner, 4th for Josh Price. James Glenister fights into the top 5. Ella Stevens, problems on lap 1, but good race pace, especially in the second half of that one, is P6. Sam Ward, Ryan Green, Lee Ward and Ashley Lewis take us to 10th place. Daniel Cebula, Byron Kittle and George Barker, the last 13 finishes, 2 retirements, Derek Morgan and Bryn Kinch. That brings us to the end of the first rotation. We've seen all of our classes compete once so far this afternoon. We're going to take a short break. Next down on circuit, it's the second appearance of the day for Senior Rotax. Welcome back to Kimbolton in Cambridgeshire for Event 7 of the Wera British Kart Championships, the penultimate round of the season for the Rotax categories. We move back to the Rotax categories now for that first heat for KZ2. First appearance of the day for Group A drivers in Senior Rotax. Nicole, this is often a key race for both those in Group A but also Group C, because this is one where we see a bit of a tyre difference. Anyone who is in Group A, they've done their TQ, they haven't done any racing so far. For Group C, to anyone on 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th position on the grid, etc., they've had a race already on those tyres. Can be a bit of a difficult challenge.
Yes, I believe your anti-pole side will be on old tyres. Everybody pretty much apart from Ralph Jungling, who had to retire in that previous race,
Good point,
will be on old boots. So, you know, the pole side of the grid are going to definitely have that advantage. So your poleman, Archie Walker, very, very quick drive around here. We've seen already so far from the KR Sport drivers today, really quick coming into this weekend. Good to see. Caden McQueen there is one of those quick KR drivers. You can see him on your screen having a laugh with his teammate Archie Walker. Don't know if they can hear me, but big handshake there.
Bit of tactics being talked through there between Walker and McQueen. They are 2 of the top 4. Interestingly, the other 2 of the top 4, both from Hunter Motorsport, but the new dynamic of Ewan Charman and Kai Hunter. Kai obviously very experienced with this team at Ewan, who's just stepped into it. You see Hunter having a little chat there with Callum Bradshaw. Bradshaw 3rd in the championship heading into this weekend, 5 points behind Guy Cunnington. But it really is, I mean, you've got Bradshaw, Hunter, Walker, McQueen, 4 of the top 6 in the championship standings heading into this weekend are in this heat. And the big question is, can any of them get on top of the kind of form that we've seen from Macaulay Bishop? Because he has been relentless. He's not in this. Actually, no, apologies. No, Bishop is in this race. This is his 2nd heat. I think that 5 of the top 6 in the championship are in this race. This could be a really telling one, I think, for the weekend, and where the tides are going in terms of this championship. If we can see those more experienced drivers be able to repel Macaulay Bishop, that'll give him a bit of a boost, I think, before we get into the serious matter of pre-finals and finals tomorrow.
Yeah, Macaulay, very unique driver out there in the grid. Young and passionate, and goes for those moves, in my opinion, that other people really wouldn't go for.
Yeah, raw and ruthless at times. Great for us.
Fire in his belly.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that these other drivers won't really be having a go at those really quite ambitious moves, especially around this circuit. That top 6 then as well, all very quick. They've had great results round this track. You know, in particular, Archie Walker, you know, good round here. Callum Bradshaw, I believe, I think it was 2022, he won the British round here. I remember watching it back to the whole train up really nicely and then kind of just drove off. So probably a bit more of the same maybe this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, more racing coming up here at Kimbolton. We're going to take a short break here on the comms and be back with Heat 2 for Senior Rotax in a short few moments' time.
Weekend hospitality at Wilton Mill. Experience the final round of the Rotax British Kart Championship with VIP hospitality. Following feedback from competitors, teams and parents, Motorsport UK in conjunction with Wilton Mill are delighted to offer full weekend hospitality, including tea and coffee, soft drinks, breakfast and lunch, high-speed Wi-Fi and access to the live stream action. Limited availability, so get your tickets now. Win a ticket to the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in Italy. Motorsport UK official Rotax Grand Festival and e-plate meeting for all Rotax classes will be held at Warden Law on September the 20th to the 22nd. Tickets for senior, mini and micro classes will be available, as well as other fantastic prizes. Entries are open now.
Let's get ready then for the next race out on circuit. Senior Rotax Heat 2 is up next. Let's take you through the runners and riders for this one. Archie Walker and Ewan Charman on the front row. Kai Hunter and Caden McQueen start on row 2. Callum Bradshaw and Macaulay Bishop go to battle once again on row 3. Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort and Angus Scrivener there on row 4.
Row number 5 is Tristan Rennie and Deacon Russell. 6 will be Louis Weaver and Neo Clark. Row number 7 is Jack Lilly, maybe a bit further behind than we typically see him, and Ethan Martin. 8 will be Archie Buttle and Pearson Bullock Carter. Not the best qualifying for Pearson. Row number 9 is Strawberry's David Orlechner, returning to this championship alongside Ralph Jungling.
John Brown and Alexander Adams acting on row 10. Tyler Harrison, Jack Gillingham row 11. Sam Baker and Luca Osmond Price row 12. Zach Hislop, Jonathan Railton and Alex Duncan complete the 27 runners. We're away and racing once again in senior Rotax.
Whoa.
Walker down the inside, trying to hold off the attack of Ewan Jarman. Is there going to be a route down the inside for Kai Hunter? Yes, there is. Brilliant stuff from Kai Hunter. Took the opportunity. That is why he has the number 1 plate on his kart, and that's why this weekend you've got to keep an eye on him. This could be where Kai Hunter's title defence really starts to get a bit of steam going and get up that table. He's not had the kind of results that he would have wanted so far, but he still has it in his hands. If he can get to the front of heats, get to the front of races, and take on the rest of this field. Hunter leads, Walker second, Bradshaw third. Good start for Macaulay Bishop as well, up 2 places to fourth. Brandon Klein-Nagelwort fifth. Not a good start for Ewan Charman. Bit of work to do there, Nicole, as Charman down to 6 places. Oh, one of the KR Sports was having a rough ride there through the exit of the Willows.
Yeah, I think Ewan Charman on that first corner got caught out on the brakes and just ended up too wide going through that first corner on all the dirt. Just got hung out to dry and lost a load of positions. Tristan Rennie there on your screens. Kai Hunter going through the 90 left, like you said. And as I said his name, Archie Walker has made the move into Kimbolton corner. Archie Walker got it stuck. Callum Bradshaw there will be having a look in third place, seeing if he can make it work. Kai Hunter back in on Archie in the first corner. Callum there trying to hold Archie Walker back out onto the rumble strip. Archie makes it stick on the timer board then. I can see a 5-second penalty for the number 37, who is Andrew. Tristan Rennie.
Tristan Rennie, 5-second penalty for the Scotsman for Craft Motorsport, hearing that Neo Clark is out of this heat, and yes, has pulled into the pits, and that's not good news for Neo Clark in the number 28. 8 minutes of this one to go, as here comes Bishop down the inside of Bradshaw. Bishop, tyre disadvantage or not, is on the move up to third place, past the former world champion. Brandon Klein-Nagelwort in 5th, Ewan Charman still there in 6th, and keep an eye out for Caden McQueen. McQueen has got past Scrivener for 7th place. Jack Lilly having a good opening few laps of this race as well. Nicole, it's up 3 places, back into the top 10.
Brandon Klein-Nagelwort then on a couple of corners ago looked really nice on the brakes, nice and late, and held it. No slide, caught up to Callum Bradshaw quite quickly within just a corner. Nice 5-kart train then for the lead. 6-kart train. Ewan Charman still there.
David Allegno on the move as well, has gained 5 places, is up to 12th. Ethan Martin having a bit of a struggle out there, unfortunately, has lost 5 spots. It's down to 19th. Kai Hunter, though, at the front of the field, looking calm, looking composed, but knowing that one mistake will allow Archie Walker, Macaulay Bishop, Callum Bradshaw and Brandon Klein-Nagelwort all in here. This is high stakes heat racing, the second of 3 for senior Rotax, and particularly those drivers who started on the inside column. Walker, Hunter, Bradshaw, they know they've got to make this race pay. They've got to get big points on the board. When they get to their second races, which will be against the Group B drivers currently sitting this one out, there will be no tyre advantage. Everyone will have done 1 race and 1 TQ on their race rubber. But this is the benefit you get from being a little bit higher up the overall timed qualifying classification. It's another thing to actually use it. Changes for 9th places. Oh, Walker down the inside. That's a bold one. That's lovely. Archie Walker gets through past Kai Hunter with a magnificent move into Kimbolton corner. Hunter's going to try and respond though. Bishop's there as well. Hunter knows he's got to keep it locked down. He cannot afford to let Macaulay Bishop through. Yes, this is just a heat, but this is very, very key for the shape of this senior Rotax weekend, and Hunter knows it. He's defending now from Macaulay Bishop, saying to the driver, remember, these two were in the same team last season in different classes. When Bishop was your junior champion, Hunter was your senior Rotax champion with Dan Holland Racing. But there's still that rivalry between the two of them as Hunter goes down the inside, side by side with Walker. I don't think that one was planned by Kai Hunter. That was a bit improvised. As Bishop is doing Bishop things, or at least trying going around the outside, but it's not worked. Walker's wide. Hunter retakes the lead. Bradshaw back up into second place. Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort into third, as here comes Bradshaw down the inside. Bradshaw takes the lead. What a heat this is. It's senior Rotax here at Kimbolton. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bradshaw, Hunter, Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort, Archie Walker, Macaulay Bishop now in fifth place, as here comes Kaden McQueen down the inside. McQueen for sixth place, gets past Ewan Charman. 4.5 minutes to go. Has anybody told these drivers, Nicole? Gentlemen, it's a heat. It's the start of the weekend. It's racing like it's a final out there.
Macaulay Bishop then on your screens, he's going to be trying to push his way back through. Did just previously a warning flag for Archie Walker, probably for that little bit of kind of fighting for position there with Kai Hunter. I can't call that exactly, but wouldn't be surprised if that was what that's caused by. Your two race leaders, Callum and Kai, now pulling away from Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort nicely. Archie Walker probably going to have a look on Brandon.
Bradshaw a little bit out of shape there going into Kimbolton. This could give Kai Hunter the opportunity now to go through, but no, he elects to just stay there, fight for third place. Walker down the inside of Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort. Nagelvoort's going to fight back.
Whoa!
Oh, as round goes Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort. Sat right in the middle of the road. Is able to recover, but he's going to lose 10, 15 positions. Here goes Bishop down the inside of McQueen for fourth place. McQueen fights back though. What a race this is. Heat 2 of 3 for senior Rotax is an early contender surely for Alpha Live race of the week, and we're not even on Sunday yet. 3 minutes and 10 to go. Jack Lilly's on the scene now. What a drive this is from Jack Lilly. He's up into the top 6. Down the inside, Charman fighting back on Lilly there. This is all over 5th place. And Lilly's got through. Lilly, remember, is one of those drivers with a bit of a tyre advantage over the number 42. Third place has changed again. Bishop down the inside of McQueen. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. I thought this would be a big race, a key race. A race of the egos out there, Nicole, but I didn't think it'd be like this.
Kai Hunter, he's done it on Callum Bradshaw through the Kimbolton corner. That was a lunge from quite far back there, Andrew.
No, it was. That was a lunge from Northamptonshire. Never mind bits of Cambridgeshire. Still 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go from Modern Law, indeed. Hunter retakes the lead of the race from Bradshaw. Bishop now third. These two have got to keep working together to an extent. Yes, Macaulay Bishop doesn't have the advantage, has the older rubber. But such is Macaulay Bishop's form so far in 2024. You cannot count him out. Jack Lilly closing in now in 5th place. There's a change for 18th place further down the order to tell you about. Alex Duncan has got past Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort. This has not been the kind of race that Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort would have expected. Archie Bottle is being called into the pits for a mechanical failure on the number 22. End of lap 12. Hunter, oh, that was a big lap from Hunter. 40.36, his new personal best, but he pulled out 3/10 over Callum Bradshaw. Out is Bottle. That looked to me like the rear bar, the rear bumper was dislodged on the rear right corner from that quick glance. This is the fight for 4th place, looking at your screens now. Caden McQueen and Jack Lilly. Macaulay Bishop, this is another very, very impressive performance from Macaulay Bishop. He's set to put a big score on the board across these 2 heats for his O-plate and lay down the challenge to the likes of Hunter and Bradshaw to repeat these performances when they race later on this afternoon. 1 minute to go, Nicole. What do you see for Callum Bradshaw being the best opportunity to retake this lead?
Very slim. I think Kai in the past couple of laps has really woken up. Now leads by half a second. I think he just needed to get through that pack and kind of get into the rhythm of things, and now, you know, he's lapping quicker laps than Callum and pulling away. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if he takes that race win, but you never know what can happen, especially in the senior Rotax. But, you know, Kai had a little bit of a rough time the past couple of races. It's nice to see him at the front. It's nice to see him demonstrating exactly what the Hunters as a team, drivers, are really about.
Best result for Hunter so far this season in terms of championship points, second in the final. at Lark Hall. That was his biggest haul of 62 championship points. Could he be on his way to securing a first maximum 65 points later on this afternoon? Time is up. Drivers will see the final lap board next time around. Change for P21. Ethan Martin has got past Jonathan Railton as McQueen really having to work hard now to hold on to this fourth place ahead of Jack Lilly. Jack Lilly's been on an absolutely storming drive in this one, as Archie Walker, frustrated there, cannot find a way through, cannot improve on sixth place. Leaders are into Derek's corner as McQueen continues to defend. Is lost out nearly there. No, holds on ahead of Lilly. Lilly now having to fend off Walker and may have to fend off Ewan Charman as well. Leaders coming into the last couple of corners. This has been proper Kai Hunter. Classic Kai Hunter. Is this the sign that he is back on championship contending form? Kai Hunter wins a pulsating second heat in senior Rotax. That was a battle.
Don't know if you saw Andrew there, but Kai looking over his shoulders, and him and Callum kind of looked as if they gave each other a little bit of a nod. I don't know if you picked up on that. Might just be me, but yeah, that's what I picked up from that. Maybe a
firm rivals, but good respect between Kai Hunter and Callum Bradshaw there. That is good results for both of them. That's what we're talking about in terms of using that tyre advantage. Macaulay Bishop third, so that means that Macaulay Bishop completes his heats with a first and a third on provisional results. Of course, Kanan McQueen fourth, Jack Lilly fifth, Archie Walker, I think might be a bit disappointed there with sixth place. Charman, Rennie and Bullock Carter all inside the top 10, completed by Louis Weaver. Well, if you enjoyed that, Senior Rotax third heat will be just before 5 o'clock. We're going to take a short break here, though, at Kimbolton. Next down on circuit, it'll be the second appearance of the day for Junior Rotax. Welcome back to Kimbolton, Event 7 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Great to have you with us this weekend for the penultimate round of the Rotax classes and for the latest round for KZ2. Right, well, I'm still catching up breath after that. An amazing heat for Senior Rotax. Junior Rotax back out next. Similar story for these drivers. Anyone on the inside column, first, third, fifth, etc. This is their first race for all drivers in Group A. For anyone on the outside of each respective row, this is their second and final heat. Can they get the results in that'll get them up the order for the intermediate classification, get some more championship points on the board, but also secure good places on the grid for the pre-final tomorrow? There is Harrison Whitcomb, starts this race on the 10th row of the grid. Work to do there. As engines fire, let's take them through for Heat 2 in Junior Rotax. Here's a grid then for race 7, the second heat for Junior Rotax. Hugh Moulton and Jack West on the front row of the grid. Charlie Neve and Lewis Goff go from row 2. Ryan Gandor and Scott Marsh on row 3. Big race this for Scott Marsh. Row 4, Finley Jones and Cameron Nelson. Row 5, great qualifying from Zach McDonald there. Is joined by Henry Cameron to complete the top 10. Joshua Smith and Albie Lapper on row number 6. Joe Anderson and William Antrobus and all SPR row 7 there, ahead of Cole Denneman, Noah Barman, all DHR row number 8. Isaac Barker and William Arshaw on the next one, ahead of Owen Neve and Harrison Whitcomb. John Richardson and Vlad Tomanchuk, then Ben Horner, Jacob Woods. Kai Beach, Adam Wooden, Sebastian Luce, Jamie Ambrose, Joel Dixon-Cohen and Harrison Crowther. And after all of that, and a bit of a rush, they go around again for another formation lap. Keep your comments coming in, keep your questions coming in as well. And Jay Aston Racing asked, what tyres do these race on? You're absolutely right, Jay. That's the Mojo tyres on for this category. A bit more time to get a bit of heat into these tyres for everybody out there. Remember, everyone on the inside of each row. Hugh Moulton, Charlie Neve, Ryan Gandora's examples. This is their first race. They've got a little bit more longevity, perhaps. They haven't raced so far on their race rubber, whereas Jack West, Lewis Goff, Scott Marsh, Cameron Nelson all have, particularly for the likes of Scott Marsh and Albie Lapper. This is huge. They need big results. They need good results to avoid being in the repechage tomorrow morning. We are not racing yet.
How many false starts is that
That's
now?
two.
I had to pop out the room.
That's two. How are conditions feeling out there, Nicole? It's quite muggy here at the commentary box. Out there on circuit, is it feeling a bit fresher?
It's warm. I don't know if this is going to sound a bit strange. It's very heavy outside.
Yeah.
You know, where you just feel a bit...
The air's a bit... Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it go?
Oh.
Yeah. It's a bit... Just a
Hard
bit
work for
muggy.
the drivers. Hard work for
It
the drivers
is.
out there
Yes.
in these kind of conditions. Now,
It's
rain
like-
was forecast between 4 and 5.
Sweaty, clammy kind
Yeah.
of thing. There they are then on your screens being told to slow down.
So all drivers getting into formation, going past Dan Ashton. What kind of shoes have we got on today for
Red, I
for
think.
Dan? Red. Okay. Maybe saving the fluorescent ones for tomorrow. Into the tram lines. Are we good to go? Yes, we are racing once again here at Kimbolton. Look at Lewis Goff trying to find his way through for the second row of the grid. As round goes the number 28 of Finley Jones on the Cosmic chassis there. That's not a good start for the privateer. But what an aggressive start there from Lewis Goff. It's not quite giving him the lead. That's still Hugh Moulton's. But Lewis Goff, knowing he's got to make early progress, get himself into good track position. He's one of those drivers in their second race, knowing how important this one is. Zach McDonald has a little bit of a move there in the midfield. This has been the best qualifying of the year so far for Zach McDonald. He's just ahead of William Archer there. End of the first lap then. Moulton from Goff, Scott Marsh, big start. Big start for Scott Marsh on Strawberry Racing duties. Had a very strong run last weekend in Kristianstad for the Tony Kart Works team. But back in British Kart Championships action here at Kimbolton, he needs a big result here to get himself back in that top 28 and avoid the peril of the repechage.
Talking about Scott Marsh and Cole Denham just drove past on your screen then. They both missed practice yesterday. Both of them were at other tracks doing testing for something else. So maybe on a bit of a back foot going into today's racing. Like you said, shame to see Scott not finish that previous race as Lewis Goff goes into Stowe and takes the race lead from Hugh Moulton. Hugh Moulton, good start to this weekend for him.
Very.
Like we said earlier, Coles is having a really good kind of second half to this season. Hugh then goes defensive into that left-hander from Scott Marsh. Lewis Goff nice and controlled down into the double right-hander.
I've got to say, at this moment, Lewis Goff is making all the talk of tyre advantage look absolutely ridiculous because he's leading this race brilliantly, and it looks like he's going to take the defensive option as Marsh down the inside. Brilliant stuff from Scott Marsh. Gets himself up to second place. I wonder whether he does have a little bit more tyre life because he won't have needed to have pushed particularly. He was off the back of the group, of the pack. There's very little to be gained with pushing hard in that first race. Just cruise around and see what could be gained later on.
Mentioned earlier, Cole Denham and Scott Marsh maybe being a bit of on a back foot, having missed yesterday, but both having a really good start to this race. Scott there sat in second, and Cole Denham going up through the order by 7 positions, sitting there in 8th.
Well, as I say, with the likes of Marsh and Denham, these are very strong drivers. They have the talent to be able to switch machinery day by day, tracks day by day, and still be on top form.
sorry, both drivers as well have been to the Rotax Grand Finals and had heat or final wins. So, you know, they are some of the best within Rotax.
Absolutely. Saw Harrison Whitcomb. Oh, was one of the strawberries was off in the background there. We'll try and catch up with who that was in a moment. Harrison Whitcomb in the top half of the field is your biggest mover, up 7 spots. Not biggest overall, because that goes to Adam Wooden. A little bit further back is up 9 spots to 17th. Also making progress, Kai Veach is up 6. Sebastian Lusch is up 6. That's a bold one. Down the inside from Cole Denham in the number 82. DHR moves him up to 7th place. New fastest lap of the heat so far as the sun starts to come out here at Kimbolton. Scott Marsh has just put in a 41.76, but it's very evenly matched on pace between the top 2. There's Jack West. Jack West could be on for a nice tidy score in terms of the results. Is there in 3rd place. I'll remind myself where Jack was classified in the first one. 4th place. Yeah, that would do very nicely for Jack. A couple of top 5s, give him a good haul of championship points and a decent spot on the grid for the pre-final tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we'll take that. William Antrobus as well, then we caught up with him to talk us through a quick lap of this circuit earlier on. He's making his way back up the order as on your screens. We've got, who have we got there in Andrew? Cole Denham and Antrobus then, following each other quite closely. Wonder if they'll work together or if Antrobus will be trying to have a look.
There's Joshua Smith in the number 15 for Jackson Motorsport. This is at the front of the train, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th positions. Harrison Whitcomb, Noah Barham and Cameron Nelson, the other drivers. Back with the leaders, Lewis Goff and Scott Marsh. This is a very strong performance from these two. Warning for the number 15 of Joshua Smith. Jack West in 3rd place. Very intriguing that it's not going the way I thought it would at all, of those on the inside who showed good pace in TQ earlier across the 3-lap average. Oh, as I say that, Hugh Moulton decides, right, I've had enough with this, down the inside.
Huge move. Sorry, pardon the pun. Huge move.
That's good. You're learning all the time this game, Nicole. 3rd place for Hugh Moulton now. Can he start to use the pace that we saw in TQ earlier? This next lap is going to be key, I feel, for Hugh Moulton to see. Now he's got a bit of clean air ahead of him. Can he pull in Scott? Well, he's just put the fastest lap of the race. That is very telling. 41.49 from Hugh Moulton whilst going on the big send. That's very impressive. Very, very impressive from Hugh Moulton. The work is not done then for Goff and Marsh at the very front of this field. More progress from Adam Wooden. Up 10 spots now to 16th. Vlad Tomanchuk is up into the top 15 as well. Harrison Whitcomb is on the outskirts of the top 10. You briefly saw him there. Up 9 spots to 11th. Bit of a struggle so far in this race for Zach McDonald. Has dropped 5 places to 14th. Another new fastest lap of the race from Hugh Moulton, 41.42. And has closed the gap down to around half a second between himself and the race leader, Lewis Goff. His first job, though, is find a way past Scott Marsh. Now, the benefit for Hugh Moulton in this case is he will know the situation with Scott Marsh. He'll know that Scott Marsh cannot afford any kind of incident. He's got to get some points on the board. I wouldn't think that Scott Marsh would battle this one too hard if it comes to that.
Andrew, I've just noticed Harrison Crowther, Heat 1, he went up 20 positions. He's gone up 10 in this, but he's just been given a 5-second time penalty.
Yeah, quite a few 5-second penalties in this one. The number 66, that's Harrison Whitcomb, has had one, and the number 75 of Kai Veach have also had a plus 5-second time penalty in race. Cole Denham has got through past Ryan Gandor for 6th. Here you can see Cole Denham now trying to find, well, in fact, Gandor's got back ahead there of Cole Denham for that battle for 6th spot. This is going to be a very intriguing scenario as here goes Marsh down the inside and has found a way through past Goff, but here comes Moulton. Moulton up to 2nd place, and now Hugh Moulton's surely going to have the chance. 2 minutes to go. That was a bold one from Scott Marsh. Well, I said he was going to go conservative. I said he was going to go, calm, knowing that he couldn't have any incidents, but no, making us look silly in the box once again is Scott Marsh. A very, very big move to take the lead of this race.
In my opinion, Andrew, it didn't look intentional at all. You know, that last corner, you carry a lot of speed, a lot of momentum. Oh, Ryan Gandor. Is that Ryan?
Yes,
Ryan,
it is.
the 71 has just gone round.
Yeah, that was at close quarters with Cole Denham. Gandor found himself on the grass approaching the Dan Weldon corner, and round he goes. That is a real shame for the Canadian. He's going to fall outside the top. Oh, Whitcombe's out. Harrison Whitcombe has had a mechanical failure. Not for the first time in 2024. Harrison Whitcombe, he already had a 5-second penalty in this race, but that is a much bigger problem for one of the championship contenders out of heat number 2, and that is going to put into real jeopardy whether Whitcombe can make it through into the pre-final directly. That could be repechage for Harrison Whitcombe tomorrow morning.
Third in the championship as well, Harrison. That's, yeah, like we said earlier, when you've got a time penalty, you're almost in a race with yourself to try and just pick off some more places. But, you know, a DNF plus the 5 seconds is, yeah, that's not great. Like you said, potential repechage for Harrison there.
And potentially season-defining moments for Harrison Whitcombe, who was 11th in his first race. Well, okay, he might squeeze through into the top 28 as a bit of communication there between Jack West and Lewis Goff and how to approach the last couple of laps of this race. 15 seconds remaining on the clock. Marsh will start the penultimate lap of this heat with Hugh Moulton breathing down his neck into Stowe Corner. Hugh Moulton looking to win a first heat of the weekend. This would be a very good start for the Coles Racing pilot in the number 51. Starts this weekend 6th in the championship points. You can just see he's able to take a tighter line, use those tyres to greater effect than what Scott Marsh can do at this stage. Once they get to pre-finals and finals tomorrow, it'll all be even for the front runners. But right now, Scott Marsh has got to drive a careful, calculated defensive race because Hugh Moulton's got a bit more race pace right now. The big question is, can he find a way through? Marsh steps to the middle of the road. Good defence there as down the inside, Lewis Goff going for third place. Charlie Neave may be able to take advantage of that, and I think has done in the number 60, warding for the number 92 of Jack West. Scott Marsh defensive again into Derricks for the final time. Scott Marsh knows that this kind of result will get him back up into the top 28 for sure. The question is, how high? Harrison Crowther's just set the fastest lap of the race. That's a little bit further down the order. Plus 15 gained for Crowther in this one. Scott Marsh using all of his ability, everything that he's learned through his karting career, has struck back brilliantly. And is he going to take the win? Yes, he is. By 0.5 of a second, Scott Marsh is back on track here at Kimbolton. Recovers brilliantly from the disappointments of a bad result in the first race. Second for Hugh Moulton, third for Charlie Neave, who takes advantage of the battle there between West and Goff late on. West P4, William Antrobus P5 ahead of Joshua Smith, Cole Denham, Lewis Goff, Noah Barham and Cameron Nelson. But another one of the big stories in this race, the retirements, particularly for Harrison Whitcombe, P28. What a bitter blow there for Harrison Whitcombe and Argenti Motorsport. They're going to have to lick their wounds overnight and hope that the performance from Heat 1 means that Whitcombe can progress through into the top 28 and not need to race through the repechage tomorrow. It's not the end of the weekend for the driver in third place in the championship, but it's a bit of a setback. Right, well, we'll see Junior Rotax out again for the third and final heat of the day at 5:10 here local time. Let's get ready after this short break. Next out on circuit, it'll be Minimax. Welcome back to Kimbolton here on Saturday for Event 7 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships, getting ready for race number 8 here on the Heats day. It'll be the second and final heat for Minimax 950. Here's a look at some of our drivers in this one. The number 5 of Joshua Griffin there, starting on the 4th row of the grid. Quick recap if you weren't with us for the first heat earlier on this afternoon. It was Albie Friend who took the race win by 1/10 of a second ahead of Emerson McAndrew-Uren. Oliver Spencer, Joshua Griffin and Luca Holmes-Ballack completed the top 5 in what once again was a really, really good first salvo for the Minimax 950 drivers. You can hear engines being fired. That means the green flag is out. It's up next. It's race 8, heat 2 for Minimax 950. Let's take you through the grid then. For heat number 2, Emerson McAndrew-Uren and Albert Friend resume battle on the front row of the grid. Oliver Spencer and Finley Lyons on row 2. Loka Holmes, Ballack and Max Gilman on row 3, ahead of Joshua Griffin and Harry Taylor on row 4.
Jensen Chalk and Edward Haynes will be on row 5, Riley Murrow and Josh Cormack on 6. Row number 7 will be Max Wheatley and Louis Radcliffe. Row number 8 will be Strawberry Racing's Tom Reed and Leo Livings.
Thea Bradshaw and Benjamin Lawn go from row 9, ahead of Alfie Ward and Devin Taylor, who complete the top 20 on row 10. Alex Goodson and Fraser Anderson from row 11. Archie Rogers-Tyler and Jacob Jack on row 12. It's a 26 kart field completed by row 13, Sebastian Clark and Annika Hurd.
Annika then is on
out.
the grid.
Good to see. So that's a medical sign-off for Annika. Back to a full complement of 26 drivers in Minimax 950 for 10 minutes plus 1 lap in the second heat of the day here in this category. Oh, a little bit of a conglomeration in the middle of the field. I think Max Gilman was involved there in the 169. Albie Friend was going for that same slingshot round the moon, round the outside. There's more drama towards the back of the field, Nicole.
Sorry, Andrew, I can see a kart there. I don't know if it's...
Jensen Chalk. Jensen Chalk is out of this race now. That looks like damage on the front right.
Yeah, looking
to me.
very wobbly on that front right.
And, well, yes, Jacob Jack also delayed through the first lap of this race. So, Albie Friend, he did it in the first race, trying to go around the outside. Oh, as round goes another one of the toolies. That's Edward Haynes. Edward Haynes spins out of this one, out of contention at least, has to wait for the whole field to go through to resume position in 25th place. All of these drivers will make it through to the pre-final. There's no repechage needed for this category as there's a change for the lead. Through goes Friend, so he's got the move done. Finley Lyons is here as well. Finley Lyons, who had those issues, those stuttering issues, not giving him full power before the start of race number 1. This is more like it from the O-Plate winner from the very start of the season. There in third. Now we can really see what he can do.
Finley Lyons then in this race will be a man on a mission. We'll wait to see if him and his teammate Luca Holmes-Ballack potentially work together to push through on Emerson McAndrew-Uren and Albert Friend.
Absolutely. So moves up through the order. Louis Radcliffe gaining positions again, as Louis did in the first race. He's up 6 places to 8th. Alex Goodson, that's good to see from Alex. Had a bit of a rough time in the first race. He's gained 10 places so far for MLC Motorsport and is up to P11. Devin Taylor as well. We should sing Devin's praises, up 6 spots to 14th. Archie Rogers-Tyler, add his name to the list of those going forward. It's up 7 places to 16th, and others all can be followed on the live timing, brought to us by Ian Rogers and the Motorsport Timing UK team. Big thanks to them. Meanwhile, back at the front of this race, Albie Friend and Emerson McAndrew-Uren starting to get a little bit of a picture here this weekend, Nicole, that this is going to be a battle to the very end between these two, particularly for Emerson McAndrew-Uren trying to get himself back into championship contention, sitting in 7th place in the points at the start of this weekend, but I don't think that's truly reflective of how well Emerson has raced so far this season.
No, definitely, and a reflection of how much he's improved as well from that first race, well, at the O-Plate and then at PFI, obviously. Micro Max winner here last year. I think he's definitely trying to replicate that this year, and into Stowe he goes in on Albert Friend then.
Lovely stuff once again from Emerson McAndrew. The winner at Lark Hall takes the lead of this second heat for Minimax 950. But here comes Albert Friend down the inside, responds and retakes the lead. Good stuff once again. Fantastic racing between these young drivers. Finley Lyons is there in third, hasn't made his move yet. Has got support in the shape of teammate Luca Holmes-Ballack, and keep an eye out for Griffin and Spencer and Murrow and Radcliffe, all part of that next group as Lyons down the inside. Capitalises on a bit of a hesitation there from Emerson McAndrew, who went for the wide line whilst Friend went down the inside. Here comes Luca Holmes-Ballack now on the attack, down the inside on the DHR 133, takes third place, but back comes Emerson McAndrew. That was a very good attempt to wrestle third place back into his hands. It didn't quite pay off, but now Albert Friend defending from his closest adversary in the championship after 3 rounds. Finley Lyons sat 19 points behind Albert Friend at the start of this weekend. That's a lead that won't change too much, I think, through this part of the meeting, through these heats. But again, the psychological side of this sport. All of these drivers want to get one up on their adversaries before the pre-final and the final tomorrow. As down the inside comes Finley Lyons. Albert Friend doesn't fight that one too hard, and I think that could be quite a sensible move there from Albert Friend. He knows that if Finley Lyons is the only driver to beat him in this race, he will be on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. Remember, Lyons finished all the way down outside the top 20, just out, 19th. 19th was Finley Lyons. So a first and a 19th would not, of course, overhaul Albert Friend's first and second place. So again, Albert Friend, I think just using his experience there. We know how strong he is. You don't win that GP plate without being a smart driver. And yeah, just holding there in second place. He knows his real fight right now is with the driver immediately behind, Emerson McAndrew there in third place.
Yeah, definitely. But then at the same time, Andrew, I don't know if you would agree, there might be two kind of sides to it. Yes, Albert will know if he stays where he is, Finley is not going to be a problem for the rest of the racing tomorrow. However, that championship points, Finley is behind him in the championship, sitting second, Albert's leading it. I don't know what he's going to be thinking about more.
That is true. It's, as all down the inside, Lyons defends there from Albert Friend. So this is when you start to get to a stage of the season like this where it's something. As Friend looks down the inside, tries to wedge the door open and has got it. But here comes Emerson McAndrew round the outside once again through the willows, down
he's off.
And McAndrew's off the road, gets back on the circuit. What happened there? For Emerson McAndrew, is tumbled down the order to probably around 8th place. And it's Luca Holmes-Ballack, I think, who's emerged at the front of this queue. Yes, it has. So it's a Synergy 1-2 now. That completely changes things here in Minimax 950. And Joshua Griffin's taken advantage as well, is up to 3rd.
Luca Holmes-Ballack then, I think he's just proved a bit of patience in these races actually does pay off sometimes. Just kind of sat there and capitalised off of that issue that Emerson McAndrew has. We see him there on your screens. He's sitting 5th, so, he is still there if this front pack start to battle. But Luca, yeah, patience pays off sometimes.
In the top 5 in the points standings at the start of this weekend is Luca Holmes-Ballack, was 5th in the first heat for Minimax 950. This would be a very, very useful result indeed as Finley Lyons goes down the inside. Luca Holmes-Ballack doesn't fight that one too hard, and I think that's not obvious, but a reasonable thing to expect, because Finley Lyons is the driver positioned better in the championship at this stage of the season. We have seen these two drivers work very well, whether it be in the Rotax series so far this season and in others as well. But the race for Synergy Factory Team. You know that Joshua Griffin there in 3rd place. It's good for them to see Albie Friend at the moment outside of the top 3 positions. It opens the door for opportunities across the course of this weekend. Warning flag for the 185. That's Benjamin Lawton. You can see now that Luca Holmes-Ballack is going to try and be rear gunner for Finlay Lyons. He's going to try and open the opportunity perhaps for Finlay Lyons to break away. He also wants to hold on to this second place for himself.
Oh,
it's three
Albert.
wide. It's three wide into turn one, and Albie Friend has gone, hello, I'll step through that as Joshua Griffin replies back through. What a brilliant sequence of corners there that emerges with Joshua Griffin in second place. There's not much that Luca Holmes-Ballack could have done more there to hold on to that. Still in fourth, has still got a chance in this one. There is Emerson McAdoo-Wren as well, is back up to fifth place. Hand up there from Oliver Spencer, who's still fighting in the top 10. But my goodness me, this Minimax 950 class of 2024, I've said it before, I'll say it again, Nicole, they are something special. We are so blessed to have them here in the Wera Tools British Kart Championships for moments like that. Three wide into Stoke Corner, all trying to go for the same apex. They all make it through. Great racing back and forth, and we've still got another 45 seconds plus one lap to enjoy of it.
Credit where it's due then as well. Joshua Griffin on that previous lap where you just saw that gap and he'd slot in so nicely. Wouldn't have even had a second to think about it, but he did it cleanly, absolutely no issues. As his teammate there, Albie Friend, goes in on him on Kimbolton corner, the last corner. Again, nice and clean. Like you said, there is so much talent in this grid, and to be racing like this and not really have many issues is quite impressive.
It is indeed. So Albie Friend now back into a position where he knows if he can hold it here, he'll have pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. He'll have another 65 championship points to add to his tally. He will further extend the lead he has in the championship overnight. Into Dan Weldon corner. Time has expired. What is the pace looking like? Well, I'll tell you what, Finlay Lyons has not got this one yet. Lost a bit of time in the first sector, responded in the second, matched the pace of Friend and Griffin behind in the second sector. This is pressure now for Albie Friend because he knows he needs these points to move himself back up the intermediate classification after the problems in race number one. Tom Reed's had a great run in this one, Nicole. Another driver who had disappointments earlier on this afternoon has gained 7 places. Just saw him there, the Strawberry Racing 111 is up to 8th place and is now all over the back of Josh Cormack. This is the fight for 8th place as Cormack goes back through. But Finlay Lyons on a mission here, is not giving up in this title fight with Albie Friend, and is going to get one over on the rest of the micro in the Minimax 950 field rather. Finlay Lyons bounces back with race victory in race number 2. Albie Friend will have pole position for the pre-final tomorrow with a first and a second place, beating out all other efforts here this afternoon. Third for Joshua Griffin. Emerson McAndrew will be at the front of the order as well. Second and fourth, a decent return for the DHR driver there. Luca Holmes-Ballack completes the top 5. Harry Taylor, Oliver Spencer, Josh Cormack, Tom Reed and Riley Morrow all impressed with top 10s in that one. Louis Radcliffe, Leo Livings, Max Gilman, Alfie Ward and Sebastian Clark. Sebastian Clark, your biggest move in that race. Good drive there from Sebastian, up 10 places to 15th. Max Wheatley, Alex Goodson, Thea Bradshaw, Benjamin Lawn and Devin Taylor take us down to 20th place. Trouble at the start for Edward Haynes in the NP21 for the Thule Motorsport 146. Archie Rogers, Tyler, Fraser Anderson, Annika Hurd. Good drive there from Annika. Good to see Annika back. Had missed the first race waiting medical clearance after a bit of a bump earlier on in the day, but Annika races through to 24th. 2 retirements in that race, Jacob, Jack and Jensen Chalk, both of them early in the race. Still very much all to play for then in Minimax 950. There is a quick sight into the pre-grid for Micro Max UK there. They will be up next. Their second and final heat of the day, and suspecting, Nicole, more of the same from Micro Max UK as we've had from the very first race of the season. Very competitive class, exuberant, passionate, inspired group of drivers ready to entertain once again here at Kimbolton.
Entertain they do. I love watching the micros and the minis. They're just so, like you said, just passionate.
Eager.
They're just, keen. They're keen.
Keen to get the overtakes in. More racing coming across the course of the afternoon. Don't forget we've got the second heat for KZ2 following after we see the completion of Micromax UK, and more heats from the seniors and juniors. Next up though, second heat of the day for Micromax. Let's take you through the grid then for Micromax UK. Sebastian Behrman on pole position, alongside on the front row is Dean Pahal. Maximilian Eberhardt and Arthur Farrow start on the second row of the grid. They're ahead of Alfie Mayer and Ava Lawrence on row 3. Lucian Smith and Luke Millward, they go from row number 4.
Row number 5 will be Joss Hushka and Max Jolly. 6, championship leader Austin Oman and Albert Farrow. Row number 7 is George Swire and Alfie Garrett. 8 will be Harry Radcliffe and Joshua Cook.
Benedictas Masiokas and Charlie Page start on row number 9 ahead of Oliver Dawson and Buddy Hugo. George Climo and Kiryo Kiyotake on row 11 ahead of Ansel Murray, Logan Rolfe, James Roots, Harris Barber, James Devereaux and Chloe McGill. We sped through the last 3 rows of that grid, and of course it's another formation lap, so just to go through at a little bit more of a leisurely pace, just in case you didn't quite catch those. Oliver Dawson and Buddy Hugo on row 10, George Climo and Kiryo Kiyotake on row 11, Ansel Murray and Logan Rolfe on row 12, James Roots and Harris Barber on row 13, James Devereaux and Chloe McGill completing the 28 runners in this one. Keep your comments coming in, let us know who you're supporting. Hello to MHK cheering on Max Jolly. Max Jolly, who had effectively did not start in the first one.
Was it a DNS? Or
it was a DNS, it was before the race had even started.
Oh, okay.
So is back out on circuit. Remember, all of these drivers go through to the pre-final automatically. Green light, away we go, 10 minutes plus 1 lap. Good start for Behrman, good start for Eberhardt as well, down the inside of Dean Pahal. Can they all make it through? The answer is yes, just about. A bit of a slow start for a couple of the drivers towards the back of the field, but that's okay. Plenty of time for them to get back involved in this one. Oh, Alfie Mayer down the inside. Lovely stuff from Alfie Mayer.
We've got one off on the grass over there, Andrew. I can't see from here who that is, but going into...
Might have been Buddy Hugo. Buddy Hugo a bit delayed through sector number 1. Coming round to complete this first lap. Sebastian Behrman, this is very impressive as Lucian Smith's fighting down the inside. Very good run in the first race from Lucian Smith. Took the race win from Behrman. Dean Pahal was 3rd, Josh Hushka 4th, and Maximilian Eberhardt completed the top 5. As there's another move down the inside. This is for 3rd place. Arthur Farrow in the number 24 gets through past Maximilian Eberhardt for 3rd place there, but Behrman 1.2 seconds clear at the start of this race and has just gone purple again through sector number 1. This form that just seems to have matured and appeared for Sebastian Behrman over the past, probably say 2 to 3 months. Again, it just seems to be getting stronger and stronger here in this category. Dean Pahal back up to say, oh, it's problems for James Roots. Really tough season so far for James Roots. That looked to be damaged possibly on the front right for the number 21. Was in 20th place, it had a really bright start, but James Roots now falls all the way down to 28th place.
Arthur Farrow then and Dean Pahal having a little bit of a squabble going through. Probably gonna, if they carry on, they're just gonna kind of give it to Sebastian Behrman, to be honest, Andrew.
Yeah, because again, this is one of those circuits where you're squabbling over bits of tarmac. You can lose rhythm, you can lose momentum, and that can allow a breakaway leader to continue to gain an advantage. That was Eberhardt down the inside. Lucian Smith also trying to fight through with Austin Oman there as well. Austin Oman has been very, very strong so far this season.
A note then for you also, Andrew, we see 2nd and 3rd, Dean Pahal and Maximilian Eberhardt. They are wearing the same livery this weekend, but I don't believe they're actually racing within the same team. I think Maximilian has gone off to do his own thing as a privateer this weekend, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't actually see those 2 drivers work together in this race.
It's Micromax UK. I think even if they were teammates, they would still go wheel to wheel out there. Oh, that's a mighty save. Harry Radcliffe. Well, a bit unorthodox, but he saved it. That's a brilliant bit of kart control from Harry Radcliffe. We didn't quite catch who the other drivers involved were, but thankfully for Radcliffe, it just got purple through sector number 2. Well, he was flying through sector number 2. That was flying in a different form through the 3rd sector. And we'll just go down to 15th place, but at least is still in the race. Maximilian Abrahart, new fastest lap of the race, 47.51 as Omen's trying to fight through there past Josh Husker. George Climo on the move again, Nicole. We saw this in the first race from the number 83 for Coles Racing. 9 positions gained this time for George Climo. This is your battle for 4th. Lucian Smith ahead of Arthur Farrow, Austin Oman and Josh Husker. Right now, if this race was to be classified, as you can see on your screens, it would be Behrman on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. Smith would be alongside on the front row. But still more than half of this one to go on time. What is the pace like between the leaders? Well, a 47.66 last time around for Behrman. 47.48 for Pahal and Abrahart. So, if they can keep at that pace, they have a chance here. The gap is 1.65 seconds. Still 5.5 minutes of this race to go. Through Dan Weldon corner. There's Josh Husker in 7th place right now. Ava Lawrence just behind there. The pink suit details for Strawberry Racing as Oman looks down the inside. Nice move there on Lucian Smith.
Josh Husker having a go then at Arthur Farrow coming down the inside of the exit. Does that make sense?
Inside around the exit.
Yeah, let's just go with that. But Josh, yeah, was having a look down out of Kimbolton corner on that previous lap on Arthur Farrow. Doesn't look like he made the move stick as we see.
Change for 2nd place. So Abrahart has passed Pahal there for 2nd. Side by side between Husker and Farrow. Farrow is going to have to let that one go for the time being. Ava Lawrence has caught back onto this group as well. Good work from Ava there in the number 18. Again, don't rule out Joshua Cook. How many times have we said it through 2024, Nicole, of like, we'll go through the first half of the race.
Under the radar,
he has this under the radar ability where we get to 4.25 minutes to go and it's like, oh, Josh Cook's here and he's gaining positions hand over fist.
Here he is.
He's up 7 places in this one so far to 9th place. Driver who took the win at the O-Plate meeting at Wilton Mill. And has been very solid with the scores so far this season. He's actually tied on points with Sebastian Behrman heading into this weekend, 511 apiece for 3rd place. I think he'd be looking though to improve, you know, when we get to the end of the season and drop scores start coming into play. His last time out, I think Joshua Cook will be looking to kind of get some of those scores at Warden Law in the bin, as it were, with some better scores both here at Kimbolton and the season finale at Wilton Mill. 3.5 minutes to go. Oh, Lucian Smith with a bold one down the inside. I don't think Dean Pahal was quite expecting that one. Smith has held it in there. Pahal has held it in there as well. Whoa, and Smith is off the road, takes to the runoff, rejoins the circuit, side by side with Husker, and there's a loss of grip there. That's what happens when you run wide, pick up dirt on your tyres, get to the next braking zone and suddenly find, you know, that ability to slow down isn't quite there.
This has turned into quite the battle then. You know, I'd say Sebastian Behrman's kind of run away with this. We're wondering if the front two, Maximilian Abrahart and Dean Powell, were going to catch up. Don't believe they will now because this has turned into a bit of a fight for 2nd.
This is looking very good as well for Maximilian Abrahart because those shifts in position for both Pahal and for Smith now mean in terms of intermediate classification, Abrahart's on the front row of the grid for the pre-final tomorrow here. 2 points for Behrman. Remember, it's 0 points for a race victory. 2 for 2nd, 3 for 3rd, 4 for 4th. You get the picture all the way down the order of 28 drivers. We have had one retirement. If you're just joining us, James Roots is unfortunately out of this race with damage to the front right of the number 21. Josh Husker trying to find way back through, back into 4th place ahead of teammate Austin Oman. Huska looking at potentially an inside spot on row 3 for the pre-final, with things standing as they are. So remember, Behrman on 2, Eberhardt 7, Pahal 8, Huska 8 as well, but remember that would then go back to how the drivers did in times qualifying earlier on this morning and early afternoon, as Oman's down the inside. That's a good move on Eberhardt. Some really strong work, Nicole, from that chase pack to reel Eberhardt back in, Owen back into 2nd place. Continuing to show a real level of calmness this season, I feel, Austin Oman, and knowing that the races can come to him, and it shows with the results that he's got on the board so far this season. No final result, for example, worse than 2nd of the 3 that we've had so far in 2024.
Yeah, Oman, that move on Maximilian Eberhardt, really controlled, really nice, in on the brakes, held the brake, used some of the curb to kind of, stick to the track, stick to that inside line, and got it through cleanly as they approach that same corner again.
Bit of a moment there for Arthur Farrow through Stowe Corner. Takes a bit of the curb by the looks of it. Here is the fight involving the number 82 of George Swire and Benedict Tasmasiokas and the number 16, and that is Swire finding a way past and into 12th place. Max Jolly in amongst it there as well. Side by side now between Joshua Cook. Oh, Joshua Cook right on the outskirts of Fadesian, going through Kestrel Corner and towards Kimbolton Corner. 20 seconds to go. Huska looking down the inside. That didn't quite work that time around on Eberhardt, and Josh Huska lost a bit of momentum. Next couple of corners are going to be crucial. Does not want to fall into the clutches of Dean Pahal, Joshua Cook and Arthur Farrow behind. Meanwhile, mentioning those drivers, Cook is through, past Pahal, back up into the top 5.
As you see there, Lucian Smith going in on Dean Pahal through that corner. Dean is going to try and stay there side by side as they go into the 90 left. Dean looks like he's going to... Oh, Lucian Smith off the track there. Dean Pahal and him having a bit of a squabble. Let's see who comes out. Lucian Smith then in front of Dean coming down the straight. It did not work out for either of those drivers. Ava Lawrence picked up some places then. She sits in 8th place, was previously in 10th. We can see on your screen then that is Maximilian Eberhardt and...
Yeah, change for 2nd place. Oman has got through past Maximilian Eberhardt there. Mercedes now switched back again. Eberhardt on Oman. No troubles though for Sebastian Behrman, who's on a final lap now and just keeps winning. Took his first victory in the Wera Tools British Kart Championships a few weeks ago at Warden Law. Followed it up with a Kart Masters GP win last weekend, and is going to be top driver after 2 sets of heats for Micromax UK. Sebastian Behrman wins Heat 2 and has maximum points in the championship from today's races, with another opportunity to close in the likes of Luke Millward and Austin Oman tomorrow in that pre-final. A very good day's racing and timed qualifying, of course, for Sebastian Behrman. Wins by 1.6 seconds ahead of Maximilian Eberhardt. Austin Oman 3rd, 4th for Josh Huska, and 5th for Joshua Cook. How does that leave the IC? Behrman, as mentioned, P1. Good results. 2nd and 1st. Maximilian Eberhardt, provisionally at this moment, is alongside on the front row with 7 points. Takes the tiebreaker virtue of the timed qualifying results in the tiebreaker there with Lucian Smith, Josh Huska and Dean Pahal in the top 5 as well. All to look forward to tomorrow when we get racing for Micromax UK. Their pre-final will be just before lunchtime at 11:50. For now, though, let's take a short break. We'll be back with more racing here at Kimbolton. KZ2 out next. KZ2 take us into race 10 for their second heat. Jake Weston starts on pole position. He's joined by Ella Stevens on the front row. Charlie Turner and Josh Price on row number 2. Derek Morgan and Sam Ward go from the third row of the grid. They're ahead of James Glenister and Miles Murphy on row 4.
Row number 5 is Ashley Lewis and Ryan Green. 6 is Lee Ward and Daniel Sabula. 7 will be Brian Kittle and George Barker. And rounding out the grid will be Bryn Kinch.
So, news from the first race. We saw an investigation notification for kart number 16, Jake Weston. Nicole Sutherland, you are absolutely spot on. Jump start for Jake Weston. That is a plus 5 second penalty. So the confirmed result of Heat 1 was Miles Murphy took his first Heat victory of the year so far. From Charlie Turner, Josh Price, Jake Weston is classified 4th. 5th for James Glenister, Ella Stevens, Ryan Green, Lee Ward, Ashley Lewis and Sam Ward. That was your top 10. There were also penalties out there for Sam Ward. He got a 5 second for an incorrectly positioned front fairing. Dropped him down from around 6th, 7th place. So that's all in the records. That's all in the history books. Can we see another rocket-like start from Miles Murphy? Because the win that he inherited from Jake Weston was all from his start on the 4th row of the grid. You can just see him in the centre of your picture at the back there. The number 4, brightly coloured, liveried, red and yellow Demon Tweaks machine. There is your championship leader, Josh Price, starting on the 2nd row of the grid. Control will be handed over to race director Nigel Edwards to get this one going for the second heat in KZ2 today. Once the flag marshal is ready for this one to begin, here we go then. Eyes on the lights once again here at Kimbolton, the second heat of KZ2. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights. And away we go. Good start for Weston. Good start for Ella Stevens as well. Problems for one of the rush performance entries towards the back of the field. It's a steadier start for the front runners. No one's made big ground yet, apart from Miles Murphy, who's already gained 3 spots. Is up to 5th place into the Dan Weldon corner for the first time. Good start from Jake Weston. We saw him be able to do this in the first race, Nicole. Can he do it again? Oh, he's lost the lead. Josh Price has come through to take the lead on lap number 1. Ella Stevens having a much brighter start to this race. Remember, she fell down to around 10th place on the first lap of heat number 1. It's held there in 4th, so it's Price from Weston, Turner, Stevens, Murphy, Morgan, Sam Ward, Glenister, Green, Lee Ward, Sebula. Barker's had a good start, up 2 spots to 12th ahead of Ashley Lewis and Bryn Kinch. Byron Kittle was the driver in trouble at the start, has not registered that first lap here in KZ2.
Dropped back a couple of places, but like you said, Ella Stevens had a much better start that time. We have behind her Miles Murphy. Miles, we didn't quite see the jump that he made on the previous race, which was, for me, I was quite excited about that, how you go from the 4th row to the 2nd within about 10 metres, but they are sitting together in 4th and 5th. Miles up by 3 positions though, so we'll have a look to see if he tries to have a go at Ella Stevens. Josh Price there on your screen, leading teammate Jack Weston. Charlie Turner, 2nd place here last year. As you can see, changing gears through there on your screen. So physical, this class. I have so much respect for these KZ2 drivers, like I said earlier, because I absolutely could not hang on to one of these.
Into Stowe corner. So.
Ella Stevens getting it done on Charlie Turner, then through the willows.
Yeah, it's a bit of a balking there for Charlie Turner. Wasn't quite able to get the speed off of Stowe because Jake Weston's number 16 kart was possessing that bit of space in the time and space continuum, and that's what allowed Ella Stevens to get through down the inside. Good move for 3rd place. This could be quite an important one in terms of championship. Remember, we're into the 2nd half of the season for KZ2. Their season weekends following a pattern of being alongside the Rotax runners for a single round, then with the Iamis for a double header. So this, of course, alongside the Rotax runners once again, meaning they just got the single round this weekend, and then they have their season finale up at Three Sisters later on in the year, and that will be another double header. And I just start to look at the championship scores at this stage of the season. Josh Price, with this lead at the moment, is also taking pole position for the pre-final tomorrow, and again 65 championship points. His lead is 20 points in terms of the championship stakes over Charlie Turner. Charlie Turner right now is looking at 4th place in the IC. That is a bit of a turnover in points for Turner. He needs to find a way through past Stevens. As out of the race is Ryan Green. That's a problem for the number 97. Will still get points for 13th place. It's not a final, but again, when you can see your championship leader at your championship rival at the very front of the field, and you've got one of his teammates in between you and him, this could be a bit of a test for a driver in Charlie Turner's scenario right now.
Charlie Turner, though, has been in the paddock and in one of these karts for quite a long time. I think he's experienced enough to kind of know how to handle the pressure of that, and I think, he will know what the score is, both with Josh Price being at the front and with having Josh Price's teammate slotted in between them.
And the difficulty of Ella Stevens, who we know has very good pace in the second half of these races, and we're not too far away from that now. End of lap number 7, as down the inside goes Weston for the lead. Weston takes the lead as Stevens fights through, trying to go around the outside of Josh Price, and a problem there off of the corner for Ella Stevens. Did she miss a gear?
It's all gone wrong for the E-plate. She really missed out coming out of the willows there after trying to get that move done.
Oh, real shame for Ella Stevens. Nearly had 2nd place in her hands, but now has got to do it all again. Has fallen down behind James Glenister and Derek Morgan into 7th place. So, well, that was quite unexpected. But again, Jake Weston has got some really, really good longevity in terms of pace this weekend. We saw him in the first heat, Nicole, under a bit of pressure from arguably more experienced heads in that Moore Racing awning this weekend. The likes of Miles Murphy, the likes of Josh Price, but he was up to the challenge. He won that first heat fair and square, and he's doing so again in his second one. And now Josh Price has got his championship rival Charlie Turner all over his rear bumper. As down the inside, here comes Turner for 2nd place. Is Miles Murphy going to be able to take an opportunity here? No. Price slots in there into 3rd place, but good move from Charlie Turner. While there were going to be questions asked, could Charlie Turner fight back? The answer at this stage is yes. Price has a little look on the kink towards the Dan Weldon corner there. This is a race on tenterhooks once again in KZ2. All of them are there. Derek Morgan's having a better run in this one. Remember, Morgan, who had a retirement in the first race. Oh, it's out is Daniel Cebula. Cebula retires on lap number 10. Was up there in 11th place and was into the 35s as well. Had some really good pace for a driver who's done a lot of racing in non-gearbox karting and has taken this gigantic leap into KZ2. He's very much still learning his trade, but showing he's got the skills to get one of these round. And sadly, it looks like the equipment has let him down on this occasion.
Yeah, Daniel Cebula had some really bad luck at Warden Law, wrote the car off before qualifying. Him and his dad worked really hard to get it back on the circuit, so it's a shame to see him experiencing some bad luck again here at Kimbolton.
Oh, that was a mighty close moment between Miles Murphy and Derek Morgan into Stowe Corner that Ella Stevens was able to take advantage of. So Stevens back up to 5th place now, 3 minutes remaining on the clock. This is a wide open race, not just in terms of who's going to take this heat win, but who's going to be on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. Right now, in the intermediate classification, you have a 3-way tie on 4 points. Now again, this is where the timed qualifying comes into play. The tiebreaker would go in the direction of Jake Weston, our fastest driver from TQ earlier on today. Turner is there in 2nd place in the IC, and Murphy would be 3rd. But if Miles Murphy can find a way past Josh Price or Charlie Turner, Murphy could get himself back onto pole position for tomorrow's pre-final, which you'll be able to watch here on the Motorsport UK and Alpha Live network of channels.
Don't forget, every lap of every race this weekend here at Kimbolton is brought to you live down the inside. Ella Stevens gets through past Miles Murphy for 4th place. Ella Stevens is the fastest driver on circuit, 35.27. She is not giving this one up, Nicole.
She's not hanging around. I think after that mistake a little bit earlier on, probably some fire in her belly to try and get back up there. Obviously, the first heat as well was not what she would have wanted, so it's good to see she's making that progress, you know, not getting despondent. I think that's the key thing when you're that competitive. A mistake is very easy to kind of think, you know, to lose your head like we spoke about earlier, but I don't think she's doing that whatsoever. She's on the move.
So just under 1.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Weston's lead is 0.8 of a second. Charlie Turner holding on to 2nd place. Actually more than holding on to 2nd place right now. He's got a 1.3 advantage there or thereabouts over Josh Price. Josh Price is now, well, it's gone from looking pretty comfortable at the front of this field, now having to work for everything to keep Ella Stevens behind for 3rd place. Weston and Turner right now in terms of the intermediate classification will be on the front row of the grid for the pre-final tomorrow. Hearing that Lee Ward may be in trouble. Just seen on our screens that the number 10 on the timing information has entered pit lane. Been a tough weekend so far, it would seem, for Lee Ward. Who's just down the road near Brixworth. Has not been the kind of weekend that we saw for Lee Ward last time out at Shennington, but tomorrow is another day. That could all change once we get to the pre-finals and the finals. Price having to defend now from Stevens. Stevens looking for the switchback. That is great driving from Josh Price. For whatever reason, he hasn't got the pace right now. The ex-BTCC driver is having to do everything here to keep Ella Stevens and now Miles Murphy and now Derek Morgan and James Glenister at bay. This won't be a completely defining drive in terms of the round this weekend in the championship, but you'd never know come the end of the season how key holding on to what is currently 4th in the IC could be in terms of championship points. On to the final lap then, through Stowe. More good defence from Josh Price through the Willows. Jake Weston, though, Nicole, is away and gone. He's going to have pole position for tomorrow's pre-final. This has been a superb drive from Jake Weston.
Jake Weston, I think, got his ticket for that pole tomorrow for the pre-final and just wandered off.
Jake Weston, well, I think he's going to hold on to this one. Lost the first one on a jump start. Another checkered flag being taken by Jake Weston. And as long as he can hold on to that one, of course, he'll have to go through scrutineering and any post-race checks. But right now, just Jake Weston, P1 in Heat 2, P1 in the intermediate classification. A great drive from Jake Weston. Charlie Turner fights through as Charlie Turner does. 2nd in that one and 2nd in the IC as well. Charlie Turner will be on the front row of the grid and will take a decent haul of points in terms of championships. 62 of them will just pull in a few more points on Josh Price. That's because Miles Murphy was 3rd in the IC. Josh Price was 4th. Ella Stevens 5th. James Glenister 6th. Sam Ward and Ashley Lewis completing the top 8. But Weston from Turner, Price, Stevens, Murphy are top 5 in heat number 2. Morgan Glenister, Sam Ward, Ashley Lewis and George Barker take us down to P10. Bryn Kinch, the last of the 11 finishers. 4 retirements in that race across the course of those 18 laps. Lee Ward, Daniel Cebula, Ryan Green and Byron Kittle. The next time we could see KZ2 in race action will be the pre-final tomorrow at 12:10 local time. So get your clocks ready for that one. Remember, you can join us from 11 o'clock, just before 11 o'clock when we've got the first reportages for Senior Rotax. And speaking of Senior Rotax, that's where we head back to next. 2 more races to go here today at Kimbolton. It'll be the 3rd heats for both Senior Rotax and Junior Rotax, the A versus B races. Always tantalising prospects through these heats. and it'll be the one that'll decide who will be on pole position for Senior Rotax's pre-final tomorrow, and of course who will make it through to the top 28 and not have to rely on the repechage tomorrow. Nicole, KZ2, some really interesting racing again today, and a bit of a surprise in terms of the form book from what we saw at Warden Law and what we've seen at Shennington earlier this season, that it's Jake Weston, the driver to beat this weekend.
Yeah, not what we've seen before, but then I think every round of the KZ2 has, so far in this championship, has been very, very different. At both Warden and Shennington, we did see a lot of retirements throughout heats and finals, I think, which really shook up the championship overall and has made things quite different going into this round. Next up then will be the Senior Rotax, but I think quickly we're going to hear a word from Rotax.
Welcome back to live coverage. Commentary from Andrew Mather and Nicole Sutherland here at Kimbolton, Event 7 of the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Senior Rotax out next, Nicole, and this one will decide who will start on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. May not even be a driver in this race. Macaulay Bishop's had 2 races so far, first and third place. In fact, let's take you through those results. But it's been a battle out there so far today for the seniors, more than I thought it would be.
I think it's been such a battle all season, to be honest with you, as always. But, you know, this year, I think being on the other side of the fence as well, this is my first year not being in the British Kart Championships for 4 or 5 years. And I think it's quite different to view it like that. And you really see things from another angle. And it's so tough out there. So tough.
It is indeed. So a quick review of the results so far today. If you're just joining us, welcome. Great to have you with us here on your Motorsport UK and Alpha live broadcast. Heat 1 went like this. Macaulay Bishop took the win from Caden McQueen. Guy Cunnington, Joshua Graham and Cian Geraghty. That was your top 5. Other selected others. Mark Kimber was P7. Harry Hannum had a good first drive. First time we've seen Hannum so far this season, P13. Gustav Usikov on the back of the field was P16. In race number 2, Kai Hunter. That was like the Kai of old. That was Kai of 2023 form in race number 2, taking that race victory from Callum Bradshaw and Macaulay Bishop, Nicole. And for Kai, this is a big race. You know, he starts on the inside of row number 2. He knows he can beat Archie Walker in this next one because he's done it already. It just feels to me that it's been a difficult title defence for Kai, but today is the day that things could turn.
Yeah, definitely. I think Kai as well, he's got so much experience that he knows how to handle pretty much any situation. This year for him has been a little bit different, where he's not consistently been winning, but you know, I think we're going to see a bit more winning from him this weekend and for the rest of this year.
Here we go then, Heat 3 for Senior Rotax. Let's whiz through this grid. Archie Walker and Guy Cunnington on the front row. Kai Hunter and Cian Geraghty on row 2. Callum Bradshaw and Rachel Robertson go from row 3. Then it's Brandon Klein-Nagelfort and Joshua Graham on row 4.
Tristan Rennie and Mark Kimber on row 5. Louis Weaver and Jack Collins on 6. 7 is Jack Lilly and Harry Hannum. And row 8 is Archie Buttle and Teddy Pritchard-Williams.
David Al-Lechner and Luke Bates start on row 9 ahead of John Brown and Benjamin Southgate, who complete the top 20. Tyler Harris and Ollie Goodyear on row 11 ahead of Sam Baker and Adish Mehta on row 12. Zach Heslop and Zav Chapman-Lewis start on row 13. It's a 28-kart field completed by row 14, Alex Duncan and Gustav Uzikovs. And we are ready and racing. Green lights at the first time of asking. Into turn 1, Guy Cunnington trying to fight round the outside. And he's done it. What a superb start for Guy Cunnington. Takes the lead. Kai Hunter's immediately up to second place. Archie Walker's trying to fight back there in third. Into Derricks for the first time. You don't often see it, Nicole. Often starting on the outside, it can be a really difficult place to be, but it's one of the great things about this Kimbolton circuit that if you've got the pace, if you've got the confidence, you can sling it around the outside. But if you're Kai Hunter, you could do that down the inside. Takes the lead at the end of lap number 1, knowing that a win in this one will give him pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. Archie Walker fighting with Callum Bradshaw there for 3rd and loses out in that one. Bradshaw is up to P3. Big movers on that first lap. Luke Bates is up 4 places to 14th. A couple of drivers up 3 spots as well, including Harry Hannum, Teddy Pritchard Williams as well. In fact, your biggest mover of all, Gustav Ozakov's up 5 places to 23rd.
Guy Cunnington and Kai Hunter then pushing away nicely so far. As we saw previously, Archie Walker was defending from Callum Bradshaw slightly, but it was strange. He defended and then he kind of looked like he just let Callum go. As we see then, Archie sat on the white line going into the first corner. Stowe. Kai continues to lead from Guy Cunnington. That first corner move though from Guy, I think was one of those things. You can use the rumble strip going into Willows. He used it, he used the track and got a really nice run.
He did indeed, and the moment it's good for 2nd place in this race. Long way to go in this one, ladies and gentlemen, but right now your intermediate classification has Kai Hunter P1, 0 points, virtue of 2 first places. Macaulay Bishop will be watching this race eagerly. He's currently 2nd place as there's a problem for the number 70 there. That's Sav Chapman Lewis for GW Racing, who's fallen to the bottom of the order. Warning flag for the number 7 of Archie Walker. So Bishop right now would be on the outside of row 1 for the pre-final. 1st and 3rd, remember the results for Bishop. Guy Cunnington would be on the inside of row 2 with 5 points and would be joined by Callum Bradshaw on that row. So all of these positions here, very tight, very compact in terms of the points. The level of racing so far this season in senior Rotax for the Wera Tools British Kart Championship has been 10 out of 10. That was a good move. That was Brandon Klein-Nagelbort down the inside on Cian Geraghty for 7th place. Mark Kimber been away from the Wera Tools British Kart Championships for a while. Been racing a lot in Europe, of course, and could be another driver with eyes on September, perhaps later in the year at PF International. Looks like he's getting back into a rhythm. He's gained 4 places in this race so far, Nicole. It's back into 6th place.
Yeah, we had the conversation earlier, didn't we, Andrew? Questioning, is Mark here potentially to be helping teammates? We don't quite know, not been able to catch up with Mark. But, as we see him take a little bit too much rumble strip there going into the last corner, that gives Brandon Klein-Nagelbort a perfect opportunity to go back in on Mark. Mark, having a look again on Brandon, and he's got the move done. Teammate Cian Geraghty is going to follow him through. Is Jack Collins going to have a look as well? No. Cian falls back again. Brandon gets the cut back on him, going in defensive, then into the tight left-hander. That's given Mark a little bit of breathing room. Mark here last year had a DNF, I believe, so I think he's probably maybe here to help a few teammates, maybe here just to have a bit of fun, maybe here to a bit of a redemption drive from last year. I don't know.
Maybe so. 6 minutes of this one to go. Brandon Klein-Nagelbort looks down the inside of Mark Kimber once again. Sweet move through into 6th position. Keep an eye on Jack Lilly as well. Jack Lilly is up to 11th place in the number 33, and another driver we saw have a very strong second half of the race in his previous one. Warning flag for Teddy Pritchard Williams. Pritchard Williams up to 13th place as Brandon Klein-Nagelbort trying to make his number 93 DHR prepared machine as wide as possible to keep the likes of Kimber Geraghty. Jack Collins having a really good one. Yeah. Good to see one of the Pro Trains up there in the top 10. Pro Train with the target of getting deeper and deeper into the finals, and with that kind of result, Jack Collins very well could be on his way to the pre-final without the need of a repechage tomorrow. As down the inside goes Kimber. Kimber through past Brandon Klein-Nagelbort back into 6th place.
I think whilst we've been focusing on this battle in front of us. Archie Walker has got the move done again on Callum Bradshaw for third. Archie Walker has set a fastest lap. He's gone purple. On your screens then is that Jack Lilly. Teddy Pritchard-Williams sending it hard then into Jack Collins. He made the absolute most of Jack. The two Jacks having a bit of a fight. Mark Kimber continues to lead this battle. That there on your screen, who is that KR Sport driver, Andrew?
It's Archie Buttle. Archie Buttle coming through the order is now up to 13th place as a change between the Strawberries.
The Strawberries having a fight again, there through the willows.
Well, there we go. Kimber and Geraghty going toe-to-toe. King Geraghty, who was a big part of things last weekend at Kart Masters.
Huge part, yeah.
4 minutes of this race to go. Kai Hunter leading by 0.3 of a second, but that battle hasn't quite ignited yet. Guy Cunnington is holding the pace, though, of Kai Hunter off of your screens. Good drive as well from Louis Weaver. Good to see the GMS karting effort there up in the top half.
Oh, clip the curb then, Kian Geraghty through Stowe.
Yeah, just unsettled the number 11 a little bit there. Warning flag for the number 37 of Tristan Rennie, as again Geraghty having to defend from Brandon Klein-Nagelvort there for 7th place. Rachel Robertson has had problems in this race, unfortunately. He's down to 20th place. It's just starting to spread apart a little bit now. Have the Strawberries got the speed to race off the front of this pack? Gotta say, fully impressed with Harry Hannam in that JDR prepared number 39. First run this season, you know, we're deep into a season here in the Wera Tools British Kart Championships. Harry Hannam has thrown his hat into the ring today and is performing to a very high level. Good to see that he's potentially going to be in that pre-final, not need a repecharge. And yeah, good to see how he can perform over the course of the weekend.
Harry as well, of course, like you said, you know, kind of wild card entrant. He's not really got anything to lose.
No.
So you drive like that, I think, when you're doing it just as a one-off, nothing to lose, all sends, I think.
All sends, but also racing efficiently as well. He's not having, you know, he's not getting in too much bother out there. He's keeping himself well positioned in these races with the country's best. Some would say even the Europe's best, if not the world's. As I say, there's several drivers in this race who I expect to be seeing going on to PF International in September for those World Championships held on Motorsport UK soil. There is the number 12 of Jack Collins. Just lost a couple of positions in this last couple of laps. He's still there in the top 15.
Well, we were just saying about...
that's Walker. That's Archie Walker from 3rd place. Now, what has happened there for Archie Walker? He was not in a direct battle from our position with Guy Cunnington. But either way, Archie Walker has lost 6 seconds there and is now in 6th place.
Joshua Graham and Callum Bradshaw seem to be quite close together there then. So I'm questioning if Archie and Callum had a coming together. We don't know. It wasn't on the screens. But, yeah, that's not what Archie would have wanted at all.
Well, he's still holding in a good position. But, well, I think it's reasonable to expect that Archie Walker is not going to be a very happy driver at the end of today, because results have not gone his way, having been on pole position and has taken overall pole position in senior Rotax. Look at this. Oh. This is looking more like the A14 on a Friday night than a kart circuit. This is hectic stuff once again in senior Rotax. And again, we talked about in other categories, this is where you can gain a lot in the last minute of a race, but it's also where you can lose a lot. You know, holding yourself in a big train like this can be the difference sometimes between making it straight into the pre-finals, saving your tyres for later on in the weekend, or, again, having to fight through the repecharge.
Yeah, as well, in my experience.
Oh!
That's Rachel Robertson has gone round. Rachel, she was having a really good run of things this weekend at Kimbolton, but that is a spanner in the works for her.
And I think that was a moment with John Brown. It looked to be one of the Craft Motorsport entries in close quarters there. 5 seconds to go. Still not done at the front of the order, by the way, because Callum Bradshaw and Joshua Graham are going to fight over 3rd place. Kai Hunter has got this one under control. What a day for Kai Hunter. Kai Hunter, ladies and gentlemen, is back, and back with a vengeance. Time is up. Last lap board is out.
Sorry, Andrew. We were saying previously about the calibre of drivers in this final, and I do believe, you know, every member of our top 5 have gone to the Rotax Grand Finals within the past couple of years and either been on the podium on a final or won heats.
All of them are round winners
Yes.
in the British Kart Championships. A number of them champions, of course, as well. Kai Hunter coming through. I can see out of our commentary box window into the final couple of corners. It's going to take race victory. It's going to take it 2 from 2. Kai Hunter has got the rhythm, has got the feeling, and is on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. Second for Cuddington. Bradshaw holds on to third place ahead of Joshua Graham. Mark Kimber is back as well with a top 5. Cian Geraghty, Brandon Klein, Naglefort, Harry Hannam, Teddy Pritchard-Williams and Archie Walker in the top 10 on the road. That is a provisional result with a capital P, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of drivers under investigation in that race. How it leaves the IC with every driver in Senior Rotax having done 2 races now. Kai Hunter, perfect score, 0 from both of his races. He will share the front row of the grid with Macaulay Bishop tomorrow. Macaulay Bishop will, well, over his closest adversary, he will extend his championship lead because Guy Cunnington is there third on the grid for tomorrow's pre-final. Bradshaw alongside on that second row of the grid. McQueen and Graham row 3, Geraghty and Charman row 4. But there is a very good sight if you are a Kai Hunter fan. He is back on top, 2 wins from 2, as he looks to claw his way back into title contention. That is just the kind of form, Nicole, that you want to be hitting in the penultimate round of the season. We're going to take a short break. One more race to go after this short ad break. Junior Rotax is up next.
Final round of the Rotax British Kart Championship with VIP hospitality. Following feedback from competitors, teams and parents, Motorsport UK, in conjunction with Wilton Mill, are delighted to offer full weekend hospitality, including tea and coffee, soft drinks, breakfast and lunch, high-speed Wi-Fi and access to the live stream action. Limited availability, so get your tickets now. Win a ticket to the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in Italy. Motorsport UK official Rotax Grand Festival and e-plate meeting for all Rotax classes will be held at Warden Law on September the 20th to the 22nd. Tickets for senior, mini and micro classes will be available, as well as other fantastic prizes. Entries are open now.
Fantastic stuff indeed. Very much looking forward to the Rotax Max Grand Festival later on in the autumn. In fact, not even that far away. It's not that far away from September. Where has 2024 gone? Well, it's proceeded on to this next race. Race 12, Heat 3 for Junior Rotax, heading out very, very soon. Who is going to be on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow? Let's find out across the course of the next 10 minutes plus 1 lap, with Hugh Moulton and Harry Bartle on the front row. Charlie Neve and Lizzie Mencia start on the second row of the grid. They're ahead of Ryan Gandor and Joshua Turnbull. Row 4, Finley Jones and Thomas Mintz-Spearing.
Zach McDonald and Thomas Behrman start at row 5. 6 is Joshua Smith and Ariman Banzal. 7 will be Joe Anderson and Emily Cotty, and row 8 is Cole Denham and Samir Paul.
Isaac Barker and Kai Clark start on the 9th row of the grid. Owen Neve and Charlie Cox go from row number 10. John Richardson and Victor Hansen look to move up from the 11th row of the grid. They're ahead of Ben Horner and Finley Buck on row 12. Kai Veach and Charlie King on row 13, ahead of Sebastian Loosh and Stanley Clark on row 14. It's the 30 kart field completed by Joel Dixon-Cohen and Shane Chandaria. 15 drivers have already completed their heats in Junior Rotax. What about the remaining 30? We're green and racing. 10 minutes plus 1 lap. Good start for Hugh Moulton. Bartle looking to the outside. It's going to get tight on exit there. There's at least one half spinner towards the back of the field. It might have been either an SBR or one of the Hunters, as out is the number 16 straight away. That is not good news for Joe Anderson. Started 13th on the grid, but will be classified outside of the top 25. Have a look at what the result was for Joe Anderson earlier, but I imagine that is going to be a bit of a tough ask now for Anderson to get through directly into the pre-finals tomorrow. Zach McDonald a little bit out on the curb there.
Yeah, Zach there getting it wrong on the 90 left. That's left him vulnerable to Cole Denham, who's following him closely behind. Harry Bartle, not the start he probably would have wanted, sat there in third, but Hugh Moulton has just lost the race lead then to Charlie Neve. Charlie, rookie driver, leading very nicely. Hugh back in on him then. This has brought Harry Bartle back into the fight. Let's watch then Finley Jones, the 28th, see if he can catch on the back two of this battle for the front. Lizzie Mentier dropped 2 positions there into 6th. Lizzie had a really strong year last year, pace-wise. Not maybe where she wanted to be after qualifying it on the second row.
I'll tell you what, it's a real big step up from Charlie Neve so far this weekend, because Charlie Neve's in another one of those drivers, you know, skirting around with the Repper-Chargers and trying to make it through into the top 28. I think that's not going to be in doubt this weekend.
I think sorry, Andrew, I think the great thing that Charlie's probably experiencing is being teammates with Harry Bartle, you know, using his data. That is critical for these drivers. Being able to have something like that makes the world a difference. Oh, that's 83 getting it a bit wrong there.
Yeah, that's Samir Paul, the privateer running on the Tony Kart chassis there, having a bit of a slide through the entrance to Derricks. This is a battle for the lead. Moulton and Bartle. It's looking pretty close, and Bartle's got through. Bartle through into the lead at the end of lap number 3. Has already got 1 heat win so far this weekend to his tally. Very simple job for Harry Bartle in this one. Win and in, 65 championship points and a pre-final pole position. I tell you what, Strawberry Racing in this junior category this weekend, this season, they have stepped it up big time. Remember that result from the first heat? Bartle from Goff, Turnbull, West and Spearing. And Strawberry had the race win in the second heat as well, with Scott Marsh ahead of Hugh Moulton, Charlie Neve in third. You could forgive Hugh Moulton for starting to get a little bit sick of the back of the size of the back of a Strawberry Racing machine. Is that down the inside is Thomas Minspearing. Nice move up to 4th place past the privateer Finley Jones.
Thomas Minspearing second then here at the round last year. Be probably looking to transfer that second place into a win. Lizzie Mentier though still sitting nicely at the back of this front pack. Keep an eye out on her, because I think she will be able to make some moves there. See if she can get it done on Finley Jones, the 28. But yeah, Tom Minspearing, you know, a move in Stowe on Lizzie the lap before, a move on Finley then again. He was signalling quite passionately to Finley as well to chase that front pack. That's where you're aiming for. I think in the early stages of the race as a driver, there's no point in fighting, especially when you're in the contention for potentially the lead. You know, you're pushing forward and then leave it to a few minutes left.
Absolutely. Good progress so far in this race, as we're having a look at the battle here between the number 71 of Ryan Gandor, Joshua Smith in there as well. Smith's just lost out in the battle for 9th place to Ariman Bansal. Good moves up through the order so far in this race. Owen Neve up 6 spots to 13th place is a highlight. Sebastian Luche as well is up 10 spots to 17th. Driver had a difficult qualifying and is trying to get back into that top 28. Joe Anderson, by the way, we mentioned retirement from the first race. It's going to be one of those where it might be okay, because he got a 9th place in his first race. It'll be a 30th place in this one, so if he does make it through to the top 28, it's not going to be particularly high up, but again, that top 10 in the first race might just be enough to squeak him through. Back at the front of the order, Harry Bartle leads by 0.36 of a second. Hugh Moulton. Difficult spot this for Hugh right now, Nicole, from my perspective, because he's got nobody around him to help. He's got Neve and Spearing a little bit far off the back. He doesn't want to completely back off and fall into their clutches, but at the same time he could probably do with at least one of them being on his rear bumper, pushing along to pull Bartle back, because Bartle doing what Bartle does. He's just chipping away. It's hundredths of a second, but over the course of a few laps, you know, it starts to look like a quite stable lead for the O-plate holder.
Yeah, I think Hugh, within this race, he's not got anybody to kind of help him. Back in the awning, I would say him and Harrison Crowther work quite nicely together.
They do.
That's maybe why we've been seeing Coles make some good progress throughout this season, as those two drivers, you know, kind of learning off each other. We saw some moves then into the last corner.
Oh.
Ryan Gandor is off. Again, that's Ryan. He had a shocker in the last one towards the later stages. I think maybe we're going to be seeing that driver through the repcharge. Lizzie then getting a bit muddled up going through the Willows. Joshua Turnbull, teammate, see if he has a look or if they try and push forward together. I would say he's probably going to try and go in a little bit early, push to the front.
Indeed, it's Thomas Behrman going through into 6th place. Thomas Behrman sitting inside the top 5 of the championship scores.
And he has. Turnbull made the move on Lizzie. He's not hanging around.
No, I'll say Joshua Turnbull. This is a big, big weekend for Joshua Turnbull. You know, had a very good run as Behrman is taking no prisoners. Down the inside of Charlie Neve, through into 5th place. Has a look over his shoulder, says, "Thank you very much. I'll be on my way. Thank you very much for the rest of this evening." He's got Finley Jones. I tell you what, he's got the pace and the time on his side to pull this one back in and maybe creep onto the top 4 rows of the grid for the pre-final tomorrow. The order at the moment in the IC is thus: Bartle and Moulton unchanged at the front. Jack West, well, we said Jack West's results, 3rd and 4th, would be useful. At the moment, he's looking at the inside of row number 2 for the pre-final tomorrow, to be joined by Lewis Goff. Thomas Spearing, as things stand, would be on the inside of row number 3, joined by Charlie Neve, and Joshua Turnbull and Ariman Bansal on row number 4. That could still change between now and the checkered flag. 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock now, and the +1 lap. Finley Buck moving up through the order again. Nicole up 10 spots. Good drives as well from Sebastian, Lucian, Joel. Dixon Cohen is down the inside. Turnbull, nice move there, up to 6th place.
Yeah, Turnbull, nice moves, like you said. And that is Charlie Neve then going back in on Josh. See if he has a look back through. No. Wonder if Lizzie Mentier will try and go in on the teammate, or if she'll choose to stick behind him. Defensive then, Josh goes into that left-hander. Charlie doing a nice job to stay steady, not make any mistakes. Thomas Behrman with the fastest lap, a 41.37, lapping really nicely. He's kind of lit things up a little bit later in this race. Normally you'd think it would be slightly earlier on, but he's getting faster and faster throughout. I think maybe something to think about, Andrew, is that obviously at the GP plate last weekend, Harry was your on-track winner, but for whatever reason did not take the GP plate home. I think this weekend he's probably got a bit of motivation to say, you know, I'm still here.
Yep.
I can, you know, this weekend I'm going to take that trophy.
Absolutely, and in terms of this championship fight as well, this is a good day for Harry Bartle through these heats, because, as mentioned, he's at the top of the IC, and you look down the list to see where's William Antrobus. Well, William Antrobus isn't in the top 8. Where's Harrison Whittaker, 3rd in the championship? He's not in the top 8. Thomas Spearing in 4th is in the top 8, but only as high as 5th. So, yeah, this has been a very, very good performance from Bartle so far. 45 seconds on the clock. Charlie Neve trying to hold off 2 DHRs here. Very much one of those things easier said than done.
We have a black flag down there, Andrew. Ooh. That's for the 94, Ben Horner, and we also have a 5-second penalty for Zach McDonald.
We do indeed. Now, the black flag is going to be for not abiding by the technical flag. That came out at 17:17 for kart number 94, Ben Horner. Well, it's 17:20 right now, so that's at least a couple of laps where Ben Horner has not served that. So it becomes a black flag. Charlie Neve holding on to 6th place here ahead of Joshua Turnbull and Lizzie Mentier, bringing Ariman Bansal into this fight. Bansal could see some gains here. 5 points behind Turnbull at the moment in the intermediate classification. So if Turnbull was to find his way through these three, and Turnbull was to slip back, that could be a change of who starts on the inside of row number 4. Time is up. Harry Bartle coming round the final corner on the penultimate lap now. Charlie Neve defends again. Runs a touch wide through the Kimbolton corner. Oh, needs to be careful here that he's not being too defensive into Stowe corner. Turnbull just can't get alongside. Neve has got very good pace out of traction zones. That Kart really takes off when he gets on the loud pedal. This is the fight for third place. Oh, Behrman trying to find a way through on Spearing, but it's going to be Bartle's day. First stage of 3 this weekend. Harry Bartle is going to make it 2 from 2 in Junior Rotax. There is the checkered flag. Harry Bartle wins once again and will be on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. Hugh Moulton will join him on that front row with a couple of seconds there through the heats. Thomas Min-Spearing third in that last race of the day ahead of Thomas Behrman. Finlay Jones, great drive there from Finlay Jones. Had a difficult first race, but gets P5 in that one. Few 5-second penalties in that one. 2 of them, I think, for Zach McDonald. 1 of the all there for Kai Clark. How does that leave the IC? Well, Bartle and Moulton, as mentioned, on your front row. Jack West and Lewis Goff will be row 2. Thomas Min-Spearing and Charlie Neve row 3. Joshua Turnbull and Ariman Bansal row number 4. The rest of the rows will be confirmed in due course. There's your heats results for race 12 of the day here at Kimbolton. Harry Bartle looking relatively comfortable there. That didn't look like too much of a hardship for Harry Bartle. That's a bit of a warning for the rest of the Junior Rotax category, I feel, Nicole.
It's warm out there, but I don't think he probably would have even broken a sweat. Just drove off, nice and calm, no mistakes. That's what we like to see, I think.
Well, there we go. That completes the racing here today. If you're at the circuit, don't rush off, because we've got a paddock show recording coming up after this. That paddock show that you'll be able to see, and the premiere of tomorrow during the lunch break. Talking of tomorrow, because this isn't the end of things for Event 7 of the Rear Tools British Kart Championships. If you're at the circuit, warm-up starts at 10 o'clock. A run through all of the categories. We go live here on the Motorsport UK and Alpha Live platform of channels with live broadcasting from just before 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock is when the repecharge for Senior Rotax takes place. 11:15 for the Junior Rotax repecharge. Then it's into the business of pre-finals in this order from 11:30 onwards. Minimax 950 at 11:50. Micromax at 11:30 is Minimax 950. 11:50 for Micromax, 12:10 for KZ2, 12:30 for Senior Rotax, 12:50 for Junior Rotax. We then have the break, and then we come back at 1:45 for the finals, the big ones. Minimax 950 going first for their 15-minute plus 1 lap final. As I say, at 1:45, 2:15 for Micromax. 2:45 for KZ2, 3:15 for Senior Rotax, 3:45 for Junior Rotax. All of those times are available for you on the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships website. They are, of course, subject to change depending on how we go tomorrow. But great work as ever from the race officials here to have us on schedule as ever here for the Vera Tours British Kart Championships. Nicole, last thoughts before we sign off for tonight. We've seen some good racing today.
Yeah, definitely. And I think tomorrow, what might shake it up a little bit, it's going to be really, really warm from what I've seen, as well as all of the fantastic racing that we always see from the Rotax grids. Yeah, I couldn't even put my money on anybody. Not that I would, but yeah, I could be anybody's win in every class.
It could well be indeed. Well, that wraps us up here for Saturday for Event 7 of the Vera Tools British Kart Championships. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow for the repecharges, the pre-finals and finals. For myself, Andrew Mather, Nicole Sutherland alongside me in the box. Thank you very much for joining us here at Kimbolton. Have a lovely evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.